think about how we're going to format this. Oh, we're live.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I'm all set on it, so we could just get right into it if you guys want.
Hey, chat.
Yep.
I'm just trying to make sure mine's connected, guys. My audience knows I'm a massive boomer. This is not news, but I'm just trying to. I'm in the live thing here.
All right, so we are live streaming right now.
I mean, speaking of the boomer thing, Gadget, one of the funniest things is that there's that Tyson Hockley kid who's one of like the Tate's big supporters. It seems like he's only 18 years old in the clips I've seen, at least. And the fact that he gets like so mad, they get so mad at you guys because they're like, look, he's middle-aged, he's overweight, like you're gonna let this guy tell you about the court case? And I'm like, bro, your guy is accused of fucking rape and who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? He's a grown-ass man. Why would he care if he's called fat on the internet or old on the internet?
I love it because I get all these kids and they think that like we're still middle school kids, like their mindset is that, and so like you're a fatty McFat fat, and like, I'm gonna bust out crying or something. I love it so much.
We're past like it's like this drama quote unquote. It's like criminal charges, right? So I'm like, we're so far past this being we're just roasting each other on the internet. Like this is like,
dude, he's in solitary confinement.
Yeah. So I do find that all very interesting. Also,
good stuff.
When did Andrew Tate get veneers too? What's with that?
Oh.
Yeah, you know, I feel like that deserves.
You've covered it the best. You've done
that deserves its own
amazing. You've done some amazing cuts with the spitting, with the camel spitting.
I think one of the things that I think makes his fans really angry is when we talk about the oversized novelty turkey teeth that he's got and he's screaming and he's spitting all over himself. Like he can barely talk through them. I think he's got the biggest like fake veneers out of any celebrity.
They are massive.
It's absurd.
So are you guys able to talk about your court case?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because one of the things that I feel like for my audience, to introduce you guys, this is Nathan Livingstone, Gadget, and Crayons. These guys are the key, at least on the internet, journalists that are going ahead and getting a lot of these clips that everybody's using in their YouTube videos. Honestly, I've seen a lot of mainstream media link to a lot of your clips, like even the BBC and stuff. And 60 Minutes, I believe, Milk Bar you were on and Gadget you were on. I watched your interview there. And I guess what's interesting and the reason why I feel like I want to talk to you guys is a lot of YouTubers don't actually credit you or get involved with your court case because defamation cases are very scary to a lot of YouTubers. You know, when I look at it, it's listing so many people where I don't know what all of those people have said and done. So I don't want to put myself in a situation where it's like I'm promoting, your guys' GoFundMe, and then when you look into it, there is a lot of serious defamation going on. So if you guys can, because you three, when I look at your guys' Twitters, it's all very professional, but like, who are these other people that are listed?
Yeah, I'll take this. First of all, I want to know. First of all, thank you, Willie, for having us on and introducing us to your fan base and your viewers. That's mighty kind of you. But to start with, just to set the tone, the exhibits, which is Tate's quote unquote evidence of defamatory statements that everyone involved in the case had supposedly made, according to them, they sealed those with the court so we can't share them. And what they've done is they've taken screenshots of tweets that we've made that they claim are defamatory. And they've gone as far in a lot of these tweets to where, let's say I'm reporting and I'm referencing a media article, or maybe I'm reporting on a Romanian case document and I'm quoting a prosecutor. They will black the document so it looks like what I'm saying, I've just made it up. And they've submitted this to an exhibit.
Interesting.
Done this wildly. So in the second, so we beat them in the first case, right? It was dismissed within 10 minutes, possibly even less, once it got in front of the judge. Not on the merits, not because it actually got decided on that there was or was not defamation, but because, number one, the judge said this is not the correct jurisdiction, right? They filed the case in March of March, and it took until December to get a trial, to get a hearing. That's how slow the system works. And then once it actually got in front of the judge, it was less than 10 minutes, and he tossed it out. He said,
Really?
number one, this is the wrong jurisdiction. This doesn't belong in Florida. So that's number one. Number two, they did not serve anyone correctly. No one got served correctly. No one. Number two. And number three, in Florida State Court, the judge says you cannot sue anonymous defendants in my court. So there were three reasons the case got dismissed. Now, he dismissed it with what's called a leave to amend, which basically means if you want to refile and fix the reasons that I dismissed this, you're welcome to do so, but you can only do so for named defendants, not anonymous defendants. So that's how the first case.
So what I was probably looking at was your guys' first case, when it's listing like all these Twitter ads and stuff.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So what I was looking at, was that your first case with all the Twitter ads? There's like 1 million defendants.
Yes.
It would have been. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So
that makes sense.
What they did. Yeah. So their entire argument is, and I'm going to speak for myself here, and I'm sure Nathan and Gadget would agree with me that the case that they filed is hilariously rubbish.
Isn't Joseph McBride doing it?
Well, he's their lead counsel. Everything, according to him, he's overseeing all of their lawsuits.
Sure.
But the one who's actually dealing with our lawsuit is Thomas Maniotis. Now, what they've done is they've claimed that the three of us, along with two lawyers, by the way, Matthew Jury, who's a very well-respected UK lawyer who's representing 4 women who have sued Andrew Tate, alleging that he raped and sexually assaulted them. They sued him in our lawsuit. They sued another woman. Her last name is Gatelin. I believe she might be the vice president of the National Center of Sexual Exploitation, who is partly representing Jane Doe, who they're also suing in Florida. So they sued her for mostly retweeting stuff that he said. And then they sued several other people who they're survivors of domestic abuse and rape and some pretty horrific stuff themselves, with just tiny accounts, minuscule accounts that don't get any engagement whatsoever. But they lumped us all together, and their claim was that there was a grand civil conspiracy to defame them and destroy their business. So according to them, we all got together.
This was all the Team Matrix stuff, right? You guys are Team Matrix.
Right. And the Team Matrix is we all have a shared interest. Anytime there's a shared interest, like, Taylor Swift has the Swifties, the Grateful Dead has the Deadheads, MAGA, right? MAGA for supporting, President Trump. Like, people with a shared interest, names naturally come together. So they use that as some sort of evidence of a civil conspiracy. Now, in order to have a conspiracy, you actually have to have an agreement amongst people to say, yeah, let's commit defamation together, which, look, they provided no evidence of any of this. But my point is, they have sealed all of the exhibits so the public can't see them. In my opinion, if the public were actually able to see all the exhibits, they would laugh these guys into oblivion. Because
how are they able to seal everything, though, in civil court? I'm surprised.
They're allowed to. They're allowed to. This is my first experience dealing with the U.S. Legal system, and I understand now why there's so many lawyers in the U.S. It's incredibly easy to sue anyone in the U.S. and just drag it out. So
do you think that's his intention? Because he has that famous clip from several years ago. All of you guys have posted it. In fact, even in the Emma Gabby case, she cites the YouTube video directly where Tate says it, where he goes, I don't care if I'm in the right. I don't care if it costs me $1 million. If I could take 1,000 of your dollars, it's worth it. You will be in court every day for every month of for the rest of your human years. He says something along those lines. Do you feel
In my
like he's
opinion,
doing that with you
yeah.
guys?
In my opinion, yes. Because here's the thing. So when it comes to defamation, it has to be a false statement made as a fact, right? So if Willie, if I were to go publicly and I said WillyMac has been convicted of some heinous crime, WillyMac has been convicted of stealing my car, right? That is a false statement of fact. That didn't happen, not even remotely close to happening, and that would be defamatory. Now, when a celebrity or public figure is involved, there's a higher level of defamation called actual malice. And for that to take place, that means that I would have had to have known at the time of making the statement that what I said was false, or I acted in disregard of the truth, meaning I didn't care if it was true or not. So when you have situations when your opinion is not defamation, sharing court documents is not defamation, sharing case files, sharing media reports, none of that is defamation, even if it's mean, right? Hurty words are not defamation. A false statement of fact is defamation. So if we said those two guys were convicted of this crime, that would be defamatory, but nobody said that.
Do you guys think there's any chance this goes to like an actual trial?
No.
No. I don't think that was ever the intention. As you were saying, I think this is entirely just process is the punishment. I think for me, what's very telling.
So hold on. You just said something there. You said the process is the punishment. So what he's crying about right now on Twitter, doing his whole extradition process, everything, he's actually doing that to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, and claiming to be a free speech warrior and complaining about weaponization of lawfare. I mean, it's all just entirely virtue signaling and projection. The thing that's very telling is that he's such a loudmouth when it comes to the lawsuit against Jane Doe, even against Meta as well. He was very, very vocal, but he's very, very quiet about this lawsuit against us. And I think that's because he doesn't actually want the public to know about it, because it actually makes him look very, very weak. That's that to me is very, very telling, and I think that reveals the true intention, that it really is, I believe, just meant to make our lives misery and a form of revenge for so accurately and successfully covering the criminal cases over the years.
Now, I've said it before, but if you guys were YouTubers, dude, I'm telling you, this shit would be so much bigger. This would be such a big deal. So many people would be talking about it.
There's so many people who've said, who've said far worse things than anything we've seen.
Well, especially in the United States. How does he's got no chance of winning this shit in the US.
No, and I don't believe.
I think that's part of the thing is that he doesn't want that blowback. He's not gonna, he threatened to sue Ethan Klein at one point. He's done that from time to time, but he's never followed through to the extent that he has with us. And as Crayons is saying, I mean, you can see it in the original lawsuit. You can go to our crowdfund, and we've got examples there of the defamation. And it's completely ludicrous. It's he's claiming that I'm defaming Tristan Tate by calling him a scumbag. That's my opinion. I believe Tristan Tate is a scumbag. Yeah. I think that's I'm
Hardy words.
100%. That's my belief, and I'm willing to totally defend that. But anyone who's familiar with my work knows that I pretty much just use people's own words against them. So I always joke that Andrew Tate suing me just means that he's suing himself for defamation, because all my videos are just of Andrew Tate.
Yeah, no, I've watched your compilations and the clips you post, and then I'll go and I'll find the original clips. I've never found an instance where anything you've said is out of context. Seriously, all these people that claim that, it's just not true. You go watch a lot of times the original thing is worse.
It is. That is the joke, right? They're always play it in context, and that's the only thing. I don't play it in context because people don't have 20 minutes to sit and watch one clip. Right. But it's always worse in context.
I want to go a step further, because I was explaining, some of these exhibits and why we can't show them because they are sealed. I do want to explain one of them, just to show you how ridiculous this stuff is, and we have to defend ourselves against it. So there was a Twitter space, or I'm still calling it Twitter, an X space, where a group of women got together to discuss a particular gentleman who had been privately contacting all of these women, claiming to be a journalist, claiming that he was in contacts with all of Tate's alleged victims, and he was interviewing them. And he was really trying to, what appears to be integrating in with these women and using this story. And he was doing this with survivors, women who have been abused and raped and attempted trafficked and all of this stuff. So he was kind of using that as an end. And all of these women started talking, and they were like, okay, this guy could be a predator. Let's hold a space and call this guy out. So they held a space, called this guy out. In the title of the space was them calling this guy out. And yes, in the conversation, they talked about Tate. They talked about, that he was a scumbag or whatever, because this guy was covering, he was posting about Tate, and he was saying that was his in, and he was interviewing the alleged victim. So obviously Tate became part of the conversation. So they went on to talk about how women should be safe on the internet and how women need to protect themselves from predators on the internet, et cetera. And they were completely talking about this particular character. So they took that, they transcribed it, and reframed it to say that they held a space to teach people how to defame their clients and hide their identity.
Oh, that is so ridiculous.
And it's sealed, so we can't share it. The space is still up, but I can't even reference it. Yeah, but that's the sort of thing we're dealing with. In my opinion, this is 100% lawfare. There's no, first of all, this isn't going to go to trial. And if it did, they would lose in a spectacular manner. And they don't want, and discovery works both ways. As we're seeing right now with the Jane Doe case, the judge just compelled the Tate brothers to answer for the discovery. So she sent them questions and sent them notices of production to where she is demanding them to answer specific questions. She's demanding financial information and ownership information, and they were not providing that information. So the court had to order it. So
the information was financial, right?
It was financial and ownership.
And half of the Tates, at least when I saw the one former senator from Florida talking about it, it's like half of the Tate's cases against them, at least the ones in Romania, are about their money. Like where they are and how they aren't being honest about their money.
Yeah, well, in her situation, so truth is a defense against defamation. And they sued her claiming that because she gave statements to the Romanian authorities after they raided the compound and they identified the women, what do you do if if you are a part of a raid and you're taken to the police station and they ask you, so tell us what happened. She gave her testimony of what happened, and they sued her for that. And they're saying it was defamatory. But before they were raided, she sent text messages from Romania to her parents in Florida. And she said something along the lines of her and another girl were going to escape while everybody was sleeping because they believed that they were trafficking women. Right?
Yeah, dude, this is what's fucking crazy about that whole case, though. It's like she's being sued for defamation against charges that did come out. Like he's literally charged in 2 different countries for it. So I'm like, how the fuck is she still being sued?
Right. So
that's what I don't understand about that whole fucking thing. It's like same with you guys. It's like you guys are being charged for. I think one of the things in the first court case was like somebody wrote a website called AndrewTateIsARapist.com or some shit, right? And that was like to me like the most like outrageous statement made, because that's like a pretty harsh statement. But it's like, dude, this guy is charged with that in 2 fucking countries. Like, how is he allowed to sue for defamation over that? Yeah, he's literally criminally charged.
Yeah. Well, truth is a defense against defamation. So she's asking for all of this information because she needs to be able to prove that if they were really in financial control, complete control over all of the women who have been brought into cases for allegedly being trafficked, if they were in control of all the finances, if they were in control of all of the accounts, if there's statements from other people who say, yeah, this guy was taking my money or he was doing this, that, and the other thing, like she's allowed to use that stuff to defend herself and says, yeah, if I believe that they were human trafficking women, here's my evidence to support my claim. So she's allowed to do that. And she's allowed to pull their finances because they're claiming that she damaged their reputation and they lost all of this money. So she's saying, prove it.
Did you guys
prove that I cost you money?
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's totally valid. And what's funny is I don't think there's any chance he's actually going to hand over his finances at all.
Yeah.
Well, it'll show that there was never hundreds of millions, in my opinion. It'll show that there was never hundreds of millions of dollars for this girl to cost them. And that's what they're claiming, that she cost them, what is it, Crayons? $300+ million?
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. I
So,
think they sued her
I
for
don't think they can
$5 million.
Yeah.
Plus, there was that real world hack, and everything that I seem to understand from that, they were making $5 million a month off that, which is a lot of money, but it's clearly not hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, that
So
hack
they have
really
money.
showed that, really reinforced that it's not what they said it was, as far as
This quote you have on screen, Milk Bar, is exactly one where I was like, is this really him just joking? Because he always says like this was just some joke he sent to his girlfriend. If you look up that original context in the court document, like that full thing, dude, it's a horrible quote. It's literally about him telling he's typing to the girls that she's not working and to either throw her out of the house, keep all of her stuff if she doesn't get on webcam and work 10 hours a day.
That's not this quote. I'll tell you what this quote is, right? This quote is an example of, according to the Tates, of me defaming them.
Okay.
And this is from the first lawsuit. So they had the list of the examples of defamation. So this is one of them. I want to just show you the kind of tactics that they're using, and how just ridiculous this is, right? And there's plenty of examples like this. I know for a fact Crayons has, I think maybe even the same one. So this is a quote where they're claiming that I said this, right? They're claiming I said the criminal activities of these defendants, Tristan and Andrew Tate, are a form of slavery. Now, this is the actual post that they're quoting from, right?
This thread is so brutal looking.
The criminal activities of these defendants, Tristan and Andrew Tate, are a form of slavery. Brand the victims with tattoos. Now, that's a quote, and I'm attributing it to the Romanian prosecutor's office. So what they've done is just deleted the attribution to the prosecutor's office and just make it look like that's what I'm saying. And then on the video, Crayons is featured in it as well, where he's talking about the documents. I even show the Romanian court document featuring that quote from the Romanian prosecutor. But what they've done is removed all the context and just make it look like I've just typed the criminal activities of the defendants, Tristan and Andrew Tate, are a form of slavery. That's the kind of dirty
I fucking agree
tactics
with that
they're doing.
statement, as is.
But even
That's
still,
what's so crazy.
even still, this is what they're doing, right?
Yeah, they're literally making reporting on the case defamation. That's what they're saying. You can't report on our court papers. You can't talk about us.
But they're also getting rid of the context of the reporting, right? So
Right.
it would be like you quoting like the criminal charges, and then getting rid of the fact that you're quoting the criminal charges and just saying, oh, you're saying that this guy, allegedly raped someone.
Yeah, where does he get these Better Call Saul lawyers?
That's $1 million question.
I was looking up I think I saw one of you guys post about this too. But I just looked up Joe McBride, and he has a Wikipedia page where it's like his whole thing was like defending the J6ers, and it was like defending them not in court, but like in just trying to get a Donald Trump to pardon them. And then it's like you go and you look through, and it's like Joe McBride saying like, I don't defend people who are guilty, like Andrew and Tristan Tate, of such horrible acts. I don't defend those people. I got a choice of who I defend. And you look, and there's a guy named like Keith Raniere that he defended just like 7 years ago, who's literally convicted of running a sex cult, trafficking a bunch of women, and he's spending life in prison now.
Yeah, and branding women, having his own brand.
Yeah, he's literally defending almost the exact same dude. Like, it's crazy.
Willie, have you seen his latest video where he's sitting in front of a pool talking about goat sex?
Oh,
What? No, show me this shit. I'll read this right now.
Okay, everyone, brace for impact. Nathan, can you pull this up? Can we
Yeah. Let
play-
me.
this-
pull it. I think you got a
this-
gadget, right? You got it on your page, right?
Okay.
yeah.
Now, I need to set this up for context. The UK has charged Andrew with 15 charges of indecent images of a child, very specifically making and distributing indecent images of a child. That means a minor. That's essentially child pornography, making and distributing, right? In addition to several charges of possession of extreme pornography. Now, one of the things in extreme pornography, and this isn't listed, but if you look up, what is extreme pornography in the UK, one of the things is, sex with an animal, it's bestiality. And that thought had never crossed anyone's mind that these guys might have anything to do with or had downloaded or hold on. It gets so good. Like that wasn't even a thought in anyone's mind that it could have possibly be bestiality, because other forms of extreme pornography are like if you're beating somebody during sex, or maybe he choked somebody during the
like all the stuff on video and that he's girls in the ledge. Yeah.
That's what we're thinking, right? And keep in mind, it's possession of extreme pornography and it's making and distributing indecent images of a child, right? So that's the context. Now, this is a 2-minute video. Brace for impact, everyone, because at the end of this, you're going to be like, they need to get rid of this guy because he's doing more damage than he's doing good. This is incredible. This is peak internet right here. Let it rip.
Full screen this thing. Let's see it.
This hypothetical real quick.
Full screen.
Imagine
full screen,
this.
buddy.
There's a house, and in that house, people come and go. And inside of that house, there's a device, and nobody really knows who it belongs to, but people use it all the time. It's kind of like the house phone, the house computer, the house device. And we're talking about a long time ago, over a decade ago. This is during the time that ISIS is just killing people all over the place. And there's a lot of horrible things that are happening in the Middle East. A lot of us who were around then saw the video of the New York Times journalist who was decapitated. It was horrible. We saw gays. We saw people being lit on fire, massacres. It was terrible. It was disgusting. In that house, on that device, there's a group chat, and people are sending images, women and children getting massacred, people lit on fire, people being chucked off of buildings. There's even a video of Western forces going around the back of a building, and when they get around the back of the building, they see a guy banging a goat. They're like, the guy's banging a goat, what's going on? And pow, pow, they smoke him. They smoke him. There's no evidence that you've ever solicited any of these images or any of these videos. There's no read receipts. No one knows if you've even watched them. And nobody can absolutely say for sure if this phone was even yours. But because you're on a group chat with dozens of, or maybe 100 guys on it, and because people are sending these kinds of images, and because some of these images involve a goat and involve massacre.
What the fuck is going on?
With indecent images of a child and bestiality. And that's what they're telling the world about you. But the truth is entirely something.
So there's confirmed goat porn in the war room?
Bro.
You pay $8,000 a month to go watch goat porn in Andrew Tate's war room? Like what the fuck is going on there?
Listen. Look, first of all,
that was so much more unhinged. I thought he was just going to make an analogy, dude. No, there's literally goat porn.
Dude, listen, first, I mean, this is how fast things escalated. First, it was their right to being violated. The UK won't even tell us what any of these charges are about. And then the next day, we've got goat porn.
Dude. You missed where McBride gave a speech and suggested that people are calling the Tate brothers the Osama bin Laden of rape.
No, I have actually seen that. I just don't understand. Like, that's such an interesting statement because I'm not even sure what that means.
No one would have ever in a million years even considered the possibility that any of these guys would have had goat porn anywhere. And for him to make this video, like I watched it 3 times in a row just to make sure I was fully understanding what was going on. I was like, man,
it's a video confirming that they send goat porn to each other.
Yeah, like the like the military's going around.
Also,
the corner.
why are they sending decapitations to? Like that's also just like the goat porn is so shocking. I almost missed the entire other thing. Why are they sending like war crimes to each other?
And just to be clear, these are not 2 goats having sex. He was very specific about guys banging a goat. He was very specific about guys banging a goat. Now, here's the thing. Everyone can think this through. If you're in a group chat with a bunch of guys sending images of war crimes to one another, at some point when the bestiality and child pornography pops up, you're probably going to leave and report the group. Right?
No, not these guys. They show up to the protest.
Right.
They
Oh
buy
my
some
God.
more daddy coin. Do you?
Yeah.
This is a theory that I have. Do the Tates know at all what Joe McBride is doing?
I hope so. But we
My-
have a theory. We have a
Yeah.
theory that these guys think that this is a good idea. I mean,
Yep.
it's just when you take everything in context, everything in context, their entire social media history, the things that they say online, they probably have powwows inside the detention center. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Do that. You know, let's talk about the goat sex now. Let's get ahead of this. Let's get ahead of the bestiality charge that no one would have ever known about unless you said something.
Yeah, they're worried about people reading about that. Is what it is. If he's
Yeah,
getting
now-
ahead of it, that means there's probably some fucking weird shit about to be written.
Yeah. Now, again, remember how I said making and distributing indecent images of a child? That doesn't mean that he just downloaded some stuff. Distribution is something else. Possession was the extreme pornography. So there could be guys banging goats in his possession, but distribution is very specific. That doesn't mean merely you're possessing. It doesn't mean somebody just uploaded some child pornography.
Can you imagine paying for this, being like, no, I'm just gonna make some connections in this like Andrew Tate war room, and like that's what the fuck's going on. Dude, bring this back to the protest. Actually, when looking around the protest, I was shocked at how old everyone was. It wasn't all these young people. Tyson Hockley was the only young person there. I was like, Tyson, if you were 2 years younger, they trafficked you, dude.
The thing, McBride recruited. They padded out the numbers with all the Proud Boys. So if you watch the protest, McBride introduces all the Proud Boys. So without the Proud Boys, there would have been, I don't know how many people there, how many kids there, because all those 40-year-olds and stuff, you see them in black shirts. So McBride, with all his January 6 connections, I don't know, whatever, brought in all the Proud Boys, and they padded out the numbers, and there was still reports of 30. There might have been a bit more than that at the peak, but
I mean, I counted it at the peak because like there's a shot one of them does where they like show the whole thing. There was like 62 people there.
yeah, that sounds about right.
And that's including the media and lots of journalists, people holding cameras.
That was
people
everybody
walking
there.
by.
There was 62
That's
women, and
everybody.
like not a woman in sight. There might have been one woman in sight actually. The lady that killed her 3 kids had more of a protest going on than that.
Right?
Seriously though, right?
Yeah, for sure.
One of the things that I if I get his name wrong, correct me. Matt Jury, who's representing some of the women in England, right? He went on Piers Morgan and he said that he's getting harassed. There's people that are like outside of his house. And then in conjunction with that, there's all these clips of Tate where he's like, I will send people to your house. I will send people to harass you. Have you guys experienced anything like that?
Well, I mean, nobody's come outside my house yet because they haven't been able to find my house. That would be bad news for them if they did. But I've received endless threats through DM and even public threats of violence. People are looking for me. I've had death threats into my DMs that I reported to X. But no one's come to my house, which would be, you know, I don't think anybody showed up to either one of these guys' houses either, or anyone else that I'm aware of. I think Matthew Jury, as far as I know, he's the only one where someone has come out there, and it's probably because of what he's represented in the UK, which is, you know, the 4 women who are accusing him of rape and sexual assault. Now that is a civil case. That's a civil case. They did have a trial date, but they've postponed the trial date because the Crown Prosecution Service has reopened the case. So there could be a criminal case coming of that as well. So they postponed the civil trial for now until they figure out what's going on with the criminal side of that.
So why, dude, that's what's interesting though. So I know that happened in the UK, but why, I'm surprised that doesn't happen in the US, because how can they rule that you guys commit defamation or that Emma Gabby commits defamation if the criminal trials are still going on?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. So one of the things that you're hearing the Tatosphere saying and their lawyers, they're like, well, we're suing this woman in Florida for defamation, and when we win that case, all of the criminal cases are going to fall apart. right? That's the public messaging going on around that. But that's not even remotely close to what.
Yeah, it won't matter at all.
Yeah. It won't matter at all, right? She in Romania, she is one of 46 alleged victims that the authorities have recently confirmed in their letters to the Department of Justice. There's 46 alleged victims currently in Romania. She's only one of them. And all the Florida judge can do, is determine, did she commit defamation according to Florida law? Did it happen in Florida? Does that message that she sent her parents, was that a defamatory message under Florida law? And even if he says, yes, that was defamatory under Florida law, that will have absolutely no impact whatsoever on the criminal cases. DCOT, which is the Romanian authorities, and the Crown Prosecution Service, they have their own evidence. They have their own cases that they've built. A defamation case in Florida is not going to do anything. I believe, and this is fully my opinion, I believe that they're going to drop that case, or the case is going to end up in a summary judgment or something to where they can't take it to trial. Again, it's my opinion here. And they're going to blame it on the UK. Well, we would have went to trial, but we couldn't because of the UK. And their fans just eat it. It doesn't matter how absurd it is. Their fans will believe anything they say.
Yeah, I always wonder if all of these Twitter accounts are just people that they're paying to do this stuff.
Well, think of it this way.
It is like I do see people. I even see Elon Musk jumping on that bandwagon. I think it's actually an effective strategy to point out, oh, well, I mean, how could the UK be so soft on grooming gangs, but they care about the Tate brothers? I mean, it doesn't.
How
really
can you go on though about foreign Muslims, raping people in the UK, and when Andrew Tate's literally a Muslim running a sex trafficking gang? Like, these guys, dude, it's insane that like their lawyers bring up Jeffrey Epstein and being like,
it's the same tactic.
If they were anything like Epstein, they'd be let go. It's like, dude, Jeffrey Epstein was famously not let go.
Yeah,
that guy was put in jail, bro. What are we talking about?
It's the same tactic where you tap into that right wing, conspiracy theorist mind, where it's like top down authority, and it works. Like I said, like Elon Musk is still eating that stuff up. So that makes sense to me, Crayons. That's an effective strategy, because you've got a lot of those people. Tucker Carlson's big on that as well. This big push to say that Britain has completely just collapsed as a democracy and there's no free speech. So I understand why they would run with that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about England or the UK, but like just from what I consume on Twitter, you would think that place is getting burned down with a torch like every day.
But the thing that people like, the thing that everyone dismisses about that is that women have been going to the UK authorities reporting that Andrew Tate was allegedly sexually assaulting, raping them since as early as like 2013. So you're looking at the same Crown prosecution that these people believe dropped the ball with the grooming gangs is the same Crown prosecution that dropped the ball, not actually properly investigating.
True.
And, so it makes no sense. Doesn't make any sense.
How? One thing I want to ask to bring it. I know we're jumping back and forth here between a few different things on tangents. How much money have you guys spent on your legal fees?
Man, what are we up to now?
I'll pull up the.
Yeah,
I'll pull up the.
We've spent more than we've raised.
Wow.
I believe
you guys raised a lot of money.
Yeah. The community really stepped up, but we need as much help as we can get, because for those of you who don't know, we haven't even touched on this. We're not just fighting one lawsuit. We are now fighting 3 different actions. So number one, they refiled that Second Amendment complaint against the named defendants. So that's, Nathan and Gadget and Matthew Jury and Gatelin and Misfit Patriot. So that's going on. At the same time, they filed an appeal asking the appellate court to be allowed to sue anonymous defendants in Florida. So they filed an appeal. So we're fighting that, which is very expensive. Appeals are very expensive to fight, and they last a really long time. And then third, they sued X in what's called a pure bill of discovery. They said essentially, our case was dismissed. So now we're suing you to compel you to give us the information of those particular user accounts that we couldn't get. And they used a dismissed case to do it. And they claimed that Florida has jurisdiction over X on a case that was dismissed due to lack of jurisdiction. So now X is fighting that. X says, number one, you don't have a valid case. Number two, you're in the wrong jurisdiction. And number three, here's a whole list of First Amendment issues that we're going to fight this on. So they've joined that. They're fighting it, and we're fighting it as well for a protective order in the event that this would go further to where our information would be protected, so they can't just dox the hell out of us. So we do have people show up at our house, right? So we're fighting 3 different legal actions, and I believe we're somewhere in the neighborhood of around $25,000 or $30,000 more than what we've actually raised so far.
Wow.
And there's personal money going into this as well. So we need I mean, we're fighting guys with, significant.
Well, that are making at least $5 million a month at one point, right?
Yeah. And and this is covering a handful of people as well.
This is why returning back to it. This is why it's not about winning. It's like the clip that you were quoting, earlier at the start with Andrew Tate, where he's saying, he'll spend like $1 million to take $1,000 out of someone's pocket. I mean, that's what we're seeing. The whole strategy, I believe, is just to run up the legal bill. But I mean, we've been very fortunate in that so many people have chipped in to back us. But yeah, I mean, the lawsuit's absurd, but the legal bills are very real. So we really need people to support us, because we certainly can't afford this on our own. We're just regular people.
Yeah, and out of all the stupid lawsuits that get GoFundMe money on the internet, whether it's
some random chick who says the N-word,
or Chud the Builder or whatever it is, like this is shit that's actually so important and so good, and this is one of the, everyone calls every lawsuit, I feel like, an abuse of the legal system. Dude, this is legitimately that, guys. This is legitimately
Willie, let me ask you a question. How many hours would it take you to read, and I mean pay attention when you were reading, 4,000 pages? How long would it take?
I'd never get through it.
Okay, but just give me a ballpark, like weeks, months. What would it take? 4,000 pages. Okay, so just for the second amended complaint alone, just one of those actions that we're fighting against, their exhibits are almost 4,000 pages. And our lawyer has to go through every single one of those. And we have to basically note every single one of the, okay, this was obviously satire. This is the truth. We're referencing the prosecutor here. So we have to go through 4,000 pages just on one of these actions at like what, $500, $600 an hour. So, like this is just spiraling out of control. Yeah. And we believe, I think I can speak for everyone. We fully believe this is lawfare, and this is our opinion. We believe that the process is the punishment, which is funny because that's what they're crying about while doing that to us. Because the majority of those 4,000 tweets are absolute just nonsense. They're screenshotting people with emojis laughing at things. There's even screenshots in there of like some advertisement for somebody selling like passports in like Costa Rica that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, they're just filling it with garbage to
make. I can see there's some troll in the comments who's saying we're doing this for money. But I mean, like not a cent of this will go into our pockets.
What money have you guys made? You guys aren't YouTubers. It's not like you're profiting millions of views off this. Which is Twitter pay. Twitter pays nothing.
No,
I know from experience Twitter pays nothing.
No, we're trying to get famous off of this. I'll tell you what, this certainly
it's the worst strategy ever if you guys are trying to get famous off this. All right, let me just break that for the people saying it. It's the worst strategy. It would never work.
So I'm not monetized in any way, shape, or form. The only time I've ever asked for money is to help with our defense here. I don't make money anywhere. I'm doing this because I think it's the right thing to do. People are saying, "Oh, you're getting money off this. This is a scam, or whatever." You can see right there that it says on the. Can you zoom in on that, Nathan? Where it says the fundraiser funds will be received by Hopkins PA. You can look that up. Hopkins PA is the law firm representing us, Christopher Hopkins. 100% of this money goes to our lawyer. You can reach out to him and ask him yourself. Hopkins, PA. You can find him online. That is our attorney. So no, I'm making absolutely zero on this. I'm going in the hole. I'm losing money on this.
I mean, that's well said. Go on.
I need to go a step further just for people to understand the gravity of this. We can't countersue them, and we can't try to get lawyer fees out of them without submitting ourselves to jurisdiction where they're falsely filing the stuff in the wrong jurisdiction. So the only way we can actually try to recoup any of this is if we submit to Florida jurisdiction, which nobody lives in Florida. We don't live in the United States. So I'm not going to submit to the wrong jurisdiction. That's stupid.
Dude, that is interesting though, because I do feel like, I don't know where you guys live. I know you guys were on 60 Minutes Australia, so I assume some of you live there. I feel like the defamation laws in the US are so much more favorable towards you guys than Australia.
Yeah, I don't know what they are in Australia, but in the US, they definitely have that extra level for celebrities and public figures, which is actual malice.
So it's crazy. So you guys got to show up to court cases in the United States, though? Like, not physically, but it's crazy. You guys have to respond to this shit.
Yeah, well, it is. So if you don't respond, then they win by default. If you how
would the U.S. enforce any sort of?
They can't. That's the other thing. They can't. That's what
but you guys are fighting it because it's the right thing to do.
Well, because I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to end up in you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Let's say 10 years from now, I'm like, hey, babe, let's move to Wyoming and start a horse ranch. And then we go to Wyoming, and then my property gets seized. I don't have property, but let's say I bought a property there, and it gets seized because I owe the Tate brothers some ridiculous amount of money for a lawsuit I never responded.
No, I mean, if I want to go on a holiday to Florida, and the judgment defaults and they win, I could be in serious trouble.
Yeah, you have to fight it. I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to not have to worry about some issues in the future, you have to fight it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. We can't really do anything. Ask you. Yeah, you can keep going if you got something.
I know. I was just going to say, so we can't do anything in return. People say, well, they should have to pay your lawyer fees. No, the position that we're in, we're still fighting the procedural issues. You have to sue people in the correct jurisdiction. You have to serve people correctly. If you're going to sue them, you need to name those people. So in order to collect fees, you have to name everybody.
It's costed over $70,000. Holy shit.
Yeah, so this is this is May last year when it started. So it's over a year now. And that's the important thing to say. As Crayon said, we finally had our hearing. So from May when they filed it, we finally had a hearing in December. And within 10 minutes, it was dismissed. That's how ridiculous it is. But then they've now appealed, amended, so it goes on all over again.
Can they keep doing that?
That's why it's like we're so far. Even the benchmark of it getting to a trial is so far off. That's how rinky-dink this lawsuit is. But all of this just takes time, costs money. So we've got hearings coming up. And we fully expect that it'll be dismissed again. But I mean, ideally it'll be dismissed with prejudice, and that'll be that. But
is there a date set where you guys think that'll happen?
August 28th is the hearing for Nathan and Gadget.
September 18th. September 18th is our.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I got it backwards. So August 28th is the Twitter hearing, the X hearing. There it is. And then September 18th is the hearing for the named defendants. And we don't have a date yet on what's going to happen with the appeal. The appeal is in process. But we have two hearings coming up. The 28th of this month, which is next week.
Literally, the judge looked at it within 10 minutes. They're like, you don't even have, there's no jurisdiction here. You haven't even, you haven't even started this thing correctly. So it hasn't even got to the ballpark of actually whether they look at the merits of the statement.
And you guys, And at least I know my opinion on it, but do you guys also feel like that's on purpose?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
listen.
This is not about this. In their mind, they don't even care if it goes to trial or not. Let alone winning.
So listen to this, Willie. So you have to serve people correctly. Okay. And I don't care if they're in Australia. I don't care if they're in Japan. I don't care where they are. If you're suing somebody, you have to, this is part of, your rights, right? You have to sue people correctly. They have to be formally served to become part of this lawsuit. So what they did was they made zero effort and they provided zero evidence to show that they made any effort to sue or to serve anyone the first time around. What they did do is they asked for more time to sue or to serve people, and then they didn't do it again. So what they did was they filed with the Secretary of State, which you're only allowed to do if you've identified where this other person is, you have their last known address, you tried to serve them, and then you failed that way, and you actually showed due diligence. And if that doesn't work, then you can serve through the Secretary of State. So they asked for an extension to serve people, and then they didn't do it again within that extension. And then they filed with the Secretary of State, and the judge says, no, you can't do that. Dismissed. No jurisdiction, improper service. So then guess what they did? They filed the second amended complaint, and guess what they did again? They did the same fucking thing again.
Yeah, wow.
They didn't serve
what the fuck?
They didn't serve anyone correctly. They didn't go through the proper channels to serve anybody. And they filed through the Secretary of State for almost everyone. There were 2 or 3 people. I think, I want to say Misfit Patriot and Matthew Jury and Gatelin from the National Center of Sexual Exploitation. They actually waived service. They weren't served correctly. They just waived service. They were like, just fucking get this over with. Let's deal with jurisdiction. And they didn't serve anybody else correctly. So listen, if you were actually making an effort to get this done, you would go through the correct steps to actually serve people correctly. Or at the very least, you would be able to provide evidence to show that you tried. They've done neither.
Yeah, these guys, and sorry to use the S word here, these guys are scumbags. These guys are bad guys, man.
That's defamation.
The worst dudes imaginable in every way. Like, what's crazy is they got all these clips of themselves talking online, and when you first look at them, you're like, this has to be satire. It's like, no, dude, these guys are like shockingly, as dishonest as they are, they really did just put everything out there and their motif and how they're going to shake people down, and they do it. They do it. There's so many accounts of them doing it. Milk Bar, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, you were just Milk Bar on Twitter for a long time, and now I see that it's your full name. Was that from you getting doxxed in any way by them, or did you just come out and say it, or was it because you were going on like media tour with like in Australia?
No, I started the Milk Bar TV stuff when I was making videos on COVID during Australia, during when Australia with all the COVID stuff. And I had no intention of that being like a full-time thing. And then over the years, I've just expanded into different topics and subjects. And just based on, the response to the videos, it's just grown more and more. And, now I'm a full-time video editor. I do freelance video edits as well. So, I just got to the stage where I was just like, I'm just going to put my name behind it. And so that's kind of how I arrived at that point. I was just like,
okay, so nothing malicious behind it was all I was wondering.
Yeah.
Your Candace Owens stuff is so good too, by the way.
I've had people, there's one person who said, don't ever drop the Milk Bar TV stuff because the videos, especially the Tate videos, are so good with the handle there that you should always keep the handle. So
yeah, I think that's a good call. And I'm glad you guys are actually, like, I saw you guys streamed last week. Or no, it wasn't last week. It was just a few days ago, actually. You guys were putting it on YouTube. I couldn't stand when you guys were doing the Twitter Spaces, just because the Twitter Spaces, although they stay up perpetually, it's impossible to find them again.
Yeah, we want to do because Crayons, those spaces are. I mean, they were, even for me early on when I was trying to get my head around what was going on with the Andrew Tate cases. I mean, because they're so complicated, and the Tates do so well, I believe, at muddying the waters. As you would know, WillyMac, like covering this stuff, trying to actually figure out what the hell is going on. Those spaces with Crayons are so good with him debating people because they're just really, really informative. But yeah, I think the YouTube, the video element, I think would work really well to do some deep dives and incorporate the videos. Because
if you guys put them on YouTube, it's just easier to find too for like other people to use. It's transcribed better, like, and then you guys can make money off of it. Which I know, like Crayons, you wanted to think about, like you don't make money off it, but making some money off this stuff would be good. You guys are putting a lot of work, Getting paid a dollar or two would be kind of nice.
At this stage, I'm not against it because the money would be used to fight the
even
lawsuit.
if you make money off of it, it's like it's going to your lawsuit anyway. This is for like a totally good cause.
Yeah. So I want to add more to this because you asked about Nathan's name. So he's out there, and so they didn't have to dox him. And Gadget has been out there too. Gadget has been, as you saw, he's been on 60 Minutes in Australia under his name. He's been interviewed under his name, and they still tried to say that he was hiding his identity.
Yeah, if you look at if you look at
send me that, dude. What?
Yeah. If you look at the first initial complaints, they list me as Jack Doe and they say I'm anonymous and that I'm hiding my identity. And at that point, it was before I was on 60 Minutes, but I'd already been on the Australian, showing my face. Like this is like mainstream news in Australia. I've been on I've done full camera interviews with the advertiser. But this is Nathan Pope talking about his videos on Andrew Tate. So, like, I've been not anonymous the whole time. And if they just Googled who is the YouTuber Gadget 440, it would have said Nathan Pope from Adelaide.
That's all your lawyer has to respond to, right?
Well, it gets even better. So there's two actions going on. So there's a Second Amendment complaint where he is listed in that complaint, right? And then they also added him to the appeal because they want to sue, or they want to be allowed to sue him as an anonymous speaker in Florida. So they put him in two different cases in contradicting themselves. It is so sloppy. Like I honestly feel like they just gave it to a couple of Tate fans and Hustlers University, and they were just like, "Hey man, can you just like use ChatGPT to build a lawsuit or something?" That's what it feels like.
But they even do you remember Gadget? They even took the 60 Minutes appearance. I think it was the trailer, and Andrew Tate, whatever the real world, but Andrew Tate retweeted it. They did some cringe like re-edit where they tried to make it look like it was like an ad for his. There's definitive evidence that Andrew Tate saw the 60 Minutes Australia thing, where it's talking about us being Australian.
Well, no, that he edited me talking about the real world, Hustlers University.
That's right.
And saying that I believe it's a cult and not talking good about it. And they edited it to make it sound like I was saying it was good and promoting it. So his fans did that. And then Tate himself posted that of me talking out of context, pretending that I was talking good about Hustlers University. So he's suing me for defamation.
That's so scummy.
While he's suing me for defamation, he's posting me out of context, pretending that I'm talking good about his university that I don't condone.
Dude, his university too, like I went into a thing where he was basically stole like an open source version of Revolt.
Yes.
And dude, there was no security measures put in place. So that thing was hacked. Dude, all of their shit gets leaked. Not only the entire university, but all of their students' information, their emails, their passwords. Give me 1 sec. I gotta restart the camera.
Okay.
Their passwords, like all of this, like massive data breach, and all of these people go ahead and they get they're like asking like what's going on, and Tate just goes, "No, guys, it's fake news by the Matrix. Hustlers University is secure. Yeah. No information has ever been leaked." It's dude, some of these guys' emails and Google Drives are still accessible today. I talked to like Nick Monroe. He was able to dig up like all this shit. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all Tate's professors were in there as well. His professors saying like, guys, it's just for fake news. Everything's secure. And it's like, you need to disclose that to people when things like that happen. And they were not.
Guys, some of these guys' Google Drives that they shared, it's obviously been years, so they moved on, but they still got information of like their work clients that they're still uploading to it, and they don't know that stuff's leaked.
Yeah. Oh, they're so sloppy. Everything is sloppy. And in addition to how they reframe those guys to say other things, remember what I was talking about defamation is if you're making a false statement of fact. Andrew himself said that that I've been convicted of crimes against children. Andrew, like if you want to know what defamation actually looks like, he said,
He doesn't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Just no clue who you are.
So some of his fans, and I, in my mind, in my opinion, I think there was maybe some conspiracy going on. We'll find out in the future if it goes that far. But there was this huge campaign where they found some guy that had been locked up in the United States, and he did something with kids, and they were telling everybody that was me. They did this huge push for months, telling everybody I was a convicted pedophile. They were putting this guy's picture on there. And Andrew was like boosting that. And he said that I was convicted of crimes against children. Like that's what defamation looks like. And
that's insane.
They also, and another thing in terms of just some of the ridiculous stuff that they did, I had a tweet thread go viral, like 30 million views or something, where I was posting Andrew's own tweets. Like I was taking a screenshot of Andrew's own tweets and I was posting them. And it was just like some of the worst things he's ever said. And it was his own posts. And they're saying I defamed him by posting his own posts.
Well, is this the Twitter account that he's now claiming like he didn't own?
Yes. Even though he's on video saying, of Wudan, and he spells it OFWODAN. And then he says
he's that thing where there's always a clip of Andrew Tate.
Yeah, there is.
Pitching on himself. There's even a clip of him admitting that that's his account.
My theory is that their new legal strategy, quote unquote, they know they're going to lose this extradition. You don't get to just get out of extradition, right?
Right.
So I feel like their legal strategy is we're going to lose, so let's delay it as long as we can. Let's put out as much bullshit info as we can because we know we can't win. And then we're just going to try and appeal to Trump and just pray to God that guy has a change of heart and blocks the extradition. You guys think there's any merit to that?
I think they're doing everything possible to monetize everything that happens to them.
Yeah.
Whatever happens to them, they're trying to use it to their advantage, I think, to get clicks, get views. How can we monetize it? This crazy thing's happening. How can we monetize
that's a
it?
poor thing if you end up in prison the rest of your life because he's facing life in jail in the UK. Yeah. So he can monetize as much as he wants. If he gets $10 million in the bank or $50 million, it doesn't matter if your ass is sitting in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also that it only works. Appealing to Trump only works if there's optics where it looks like he still has a following and influence. It doesn't work if there's no one back, So these protests just like they're terrible. They're a terrible look, It's almost better than
it's not a good look at all, dude.
It's a terrible look. But this is the whole thing. It's the whole idea is that we helped Trump win because we were able to mobilize, generation of young men because Andrew Tate endorsed you. But that only works if he's still got a significant following. But I mean, as we've said, but by the actual looks of it, his following is completely just hemorrhaged.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys, and all of you can pitch in here. I sent a tweet, which this cracked me up because it's just Joe McBride like mad crashing out, right? Specifically at Crayons. And I just want you guys to go through very, very quickly just these basically 10 Joe McBride excuses here. And, if you guys want to each just take one and go through them, I think that would be a good segment.
This is from November 2024.
Let's start at the top. Joe McBride said, here's what you need to know about the massive wins and Cobra Tate and Tate the Talisman have accrued in the last.
And if anything's changed, like if there's been any revelations in this too.
Now, let's see. Number one, the entire Romanian case against Andrew and Tristan is based on the accusations of two women who falsely accused them of human trafficking. That is not accurate. Yeah, that is not accurate. The first case involves 7 women, 7 alleged victims, and only a couple of them, I think Yasmina Pinkov and Beatrice, who were Tate's quote girlfriends at the time. I think they're the ones who came forward and said, we're not victims, but the others had given statements. Not
That's talking about Emma Gabby, right?
Yeah, her.
So with Emma Gabby, there's a Jack Neal podcast where it's kind of recent, I think, where he's talking about girl A, Emma Gabby, and he says like, look, these NGOs, these crazy NGOs are just backing her, and it's because I didn't take these sponsorship deals, and he's building up like this crazy narrative around it. It's like, if you look up this NGO, or not this NGO that's funding her, what's it called when lawyers take a case for free?
Pro bono.
Like her pro bono lawyers. It's like, dude, that foundation specializes in fighting human trafficking and like women abuse. It's like the worst. I'm like, how is he saying this shit? He's able to say everything.
That's one of the people that's being sued for defamation in our lawsuit. Is the one who's I think is the vice president of that organization.
Really?
So, yeah. So this is why they managed to pull in a lawyer for the alleged victims in the civil case in the UK, a lawyer for the National Center on Sexual Exploitation, who's representing Jane Doe, and then a bunch of us. It's this way I think of them trying to like just take on as many of the people that they feel like have done a lot of damage to their narrative.
Man, that's so fucking crazy. Really,
it is crazy. It is crazy.
So let's move on to the second thing. Well, first of all, the Jack Neal podcast is more or less a 3-hour propaganda misinformation.
Dude, that guy has to be in the war room or some shit. There's got to be some kickback for that guy, because it makes no sense. Like, I watch his podcast. I get when you interview Clavicular and you're going to sit all quietly and take long pauses and pretend you guys are really sophisticated and thought out all these like looks-maxing bullshit. But it's like you're bringing out a dude who's charged with like all this shit for years now. There's so much public-facing evidence, so many text messages that have been released. I think there's even like I forget because it's been a couple of years, but when they were locked up in Romania, calls from prison where he's like talking about where we need to fly these girls to Dubai and shit. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. It's like you're going to sit there and just let him do this whiteboard thing, and you're going to nod and go, hey, Andrew Tate, what's the real reason you're locked up, Andrew Tate?
Right.
Yeah, just let it roll. Just go.
Yeah, that guy is such a... I haven't seen a YouTube video that I guess dishonest about such serious issues since like the Tucker Carlson Candace Owens interviews they had with him.
Yeah, and that guy just interviewed Tucker Carlson as well. So there's this strange network that's going on there.
So I want to add some context to all of these videos. And some people don't know this about the Romanian case. And I think this is how it ties in with that podcast as well. When they were raided in April of 2022, one of the women who worked for him that was also charged with him in Romania, Luana Radu, she is a former police officer in Romania. Former police officer. Now, and at that time she worked for Tate. When they were starting from the raid in April of 2022 up until December of 2022, right before he was arrested, we know through Romanian case documents that she was illegally accessing the Romanian police database and keeping tabs of the entire investigation. So all of those people knew at that time, they're being investigated for this. This is what's happening. These are the steps that are being taken. They knew everything that was happening. So as luck would have it, during that time, Tate went on this big podcast tour telling everybody, oh, they can arrest you and charge you for no reason whatsoever. They can just fabricate charges. Remember, he went on this huge, step 1, they cancel you. Step 2, they drum up fake charges. Step 3, they killed you. And he did this whole thing. He knew he was under investigation at that time, and he knew what for. So then when it actually happened, everybody said, oh, Tate knew that was, he called it. He said it was coming. They hit him with fake charges. So I find it ironic that they filmed this Jack Neal podcast and it was not to be released until he was arrested. So he knew this was coming too. He just didn't know when. Right? But
Crayons, I remember you always posted or asked people in spaces. You said, show me where Andrew Tate has ever mentioned the Matrix before like mid 2022. Because that was never a thing until after he got raided.
Is that true?
And then it appears that he was able to then keep tabs on things and see, oh shit, okay, I might be in trouble here. In Romania.
Really, I did not know that. I thought the Matrix thing was always part of his game.
No, I forget. We tracked that. Well, I tracked down the first, and I mean, I went through lots of stuff, and I tracked it. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember what the date was, but it was around that time that he had not been talking about that. So, in my opinion, he just built this entire conspiracy thing because he knew what was going on, just like he knew that this was going to come. We know from the New Yorker report, who did a fantastic job, the New Yorker, on breaking down what's happening with Tate. Heidi did a deep dive on everything. Some of those leaked chat messages, Tristan even mentions that, a new case in the UK means a new warrant. We're going to have to get extradition lawyers. So they knew that this was coming. They just didn't know when. So I believe that's why he filmed that particular 3-hour interview, and it wasn't to be released until he got arrested. So, and people, oh, wow, he knew it was coming. He's so genius. No, listen, if you know what's going on and you're under investigation, if you know the things that you may have done allegedly, then it's no surprise if it actually happens.
So so when he's sitting there tweeting like nobody's extraditing me from Hong Kong because I'm like so invincible, everyone knows it's bullshit. He knew deep down like this shit was coming. It's why it was going on like Candace Owens.
Yeah. I mean, based on, the chat messages that Heidi uncovered in the New Yorker, they knew it was coming. Tristan was panicking about it in those chat messages. So
interesting. If you scroll down to the bottom of that tweet, there's a tweet where it's Joe McBride crashing out on Crayons. What's it say there? Yeah. Scroll down a little more. It should be the next tweet.
He's crashed on me a couple of times.
Oh, it's weird. It's not here. It says I could read it to you guys.
It might be like a
really quick. But hold on. Before you click away, let me hit some of these others really quick because these are important. Number 2, the statements of those 2 women were permanently excluded from the Romanian prosecutor's case because they are fictitious lies from 2 unreliable, materially dishonest women. So that's not accurate either. So those 2 particular women gave 2 different statements to the in Romania. One was given to a judge and one was given to DCOT. So the statements that were given to it, because they were leaving the country, they weren't Romanian, they were leaving the country. So they said, okay, well, let's get you in front of the judge to give these statements that you gave us, and then you can leave. So only the statements that were given to the judge were removed from the case because Tate's team didn't have a chance to cross question them. That was it. There was nothing about lies. There was nothing about being dishonest. And it was a procedural mishap. And those 2 statements that were removed have been re-given.
Oh, they've been added back in, huh?
Yeah. So Jane Doe, right? Jane Doe traveled back to Romania. Is that right? To then.
I don't know if I don't think she physically went back there. I don't know for sure. It doesn't make sense. She could have probably video call in.
Right.
I can't imagine they made when people travel to Romania. That wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. But she gave the statements again.
Yes. It's been reported that both of them have given statements again.
And I think it's important to point out too that this is when that they're saying that, they threw all the evidence out because the judge said it was illegally taken evidence, and the whole case fell apart because they threw out all the evidence. It's a couple of statements that they had to retake. That's what happened.
Yeah, I'm not kidding, guys. Everything the Tates say is like a total lie. There might be one element of truth, like maybe a thing did get thrown out, but then they'll just be like, look, everything was thrown out. We won the case. It's over. It's done.
The thing is that anyone who's read the Romanian indictment can see that the case against them is incredibly look, they have a mountain of evidence against them. It's
it's vicious. There's so much there.
It really is vicious. And so this is the thing. It's just like, look, the Tates managed to just spam the Romanian courts, I believe, over and over again, to push this thing back, which is it's their every right to do that, to delay the case as long as they can to go to trial. But they don't simultaneously have the right to then come out and say, all we want is our day in court. What's taking so long? When they're the reason why it's being delayed.
Yeah, and from what Romania said, they said we've seen some of the evidence, at least written about in and relayed by DICOT, but they're saying like they've spent a ton of time witness tampering. There's like, what they say, there were 7 counts by Andrew Tate?
19.
19 counts by Andrew?
Total.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
this hasn't been something where it's like they're doing all this stuff in Romania and like there's more being added all the time to what they're doing over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, currently in Romania, just to kind of go over what's happening there. So both the UK and Romania sent letters to the Department of Justice, letting them know what's happening in both of these countries. So in Romania, what's happening there now is that Andrew has been charged with forming an organized criminal group. He has been charged with the offense of trafficking in minors. He has been charged with 11 acts of human trafficking. He's been charged with sexual intercourse with a minor. He's been charged with influencing statements, which is witness tampering. 7 material acts for him. The rest are with Tristan. Money laundering, 5 material acts. And removal or concealment of property from seizure, 5 material acts. Apparently, if I understand that charge correctly, when DCOT confiscated a lot of their properties, their cars and everything, they allowed them to have cars back so they could maintain the cars. They didn't release the cars to say, here, you give your cars back. They released them in custody so they could maintain the car. Well, you had expensive cars. You can't just let them rot in a warehouse. So they were allowed to maintain the cars. And then according to the documents in Romania, Tate then tried to sell the cars or transfer the cars to get rid of them and protect them. And he got caught, according to these. He's been caught doing everything according to these documents. And then there's rape, and there's a rape charge for 2 material acts. And then Tristan has created an organized criminal group, 34 material acts of human trafficking, aiding and abetting trafficking of minors, money laundering, 5 material acts, removal of or concealment of property from seizure, and influencing statements, which is witness tampering, 12 material acts. So that's Romania, right? So prosecutors believe that they have evidence to show that these guys have been caught doing this, or that they allegedly did this, right? They've got this entire case that they still have. In the UK, Andrew has 9 counts of rape for his charges, 3 charges for assault occasioning actual bodily harm, arranging or facilitating travel for sexual exploitation, times 6, making or distributing indecent images of a children, 15 charges, and possession of extreme pornography, 4 charges. And Tristan has 5 charges for rape, 6 charges for assault occasioning actual bodily harm, 1 charge for sexual assault, and 1 charge for arranging or facilitating travel for sexual exploitation. So this is a mountain of stuff that prosecutors think that they have evidence for, that they believe that they can get a conviction. And here's the thing about the UK. The UK has to run all of their charges through something called the full code test. That means that it's a 2-step process to where they have to verify 2 different steps before anybody actually gets charged. Step 1 is a step based on the evidence, and they have to verify and confirm that the evidence that they've collected is strong enough to lead them to believe that they have a realistic prospect of getting a conviction. Step 1, if that doesn't pass, they don't even move to step 2. Step 2 is that there must be public interest. It must be something that is worth pursuing. But the step 1 is there has to be enough evidence that prosecutors say, hey, we have enough verified evidence here that we believe is going to lead to a conviction. So no wonder they're fighting extradition going to the UK.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. I think what's funny here is you see was it a number 7 there? No, not number 7. I believe one of the things he says there, I can't quite see it right now, is the case is going to be dismissed as soon as 5 days from now. And this is what, November 2024?
So he may have been referencing the 5-day deadline that Romanian prosecutors gave. I mean, the Romanian court gave the prosecutors. So what happens in Romania, and a lot of people, they don't understand the intricacies of how Romania works. In a Romanian indictment, either it all passes or nothing passes. It's not a situation where it's like, well, we have a procedural issue here, but we're going to move forward and deal with it at trial. That's not how it works. If it's not 100% trial ready, the entire thing gets sent back. So judges found a handful of things that were procedural issues and irregularities. And then they told DCOT, you have 5 days to fix these. If you can't fix them, we're sending the whole file back to you. And there are things in there that could not be fixed within 5 days. Therefore, they sent the file back. The case was not dropped. All the charges remained, but they had to rewrite the indictment.
So when they post that stuff over and over again, that's all that's happening.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's
Yeah,
where,
and those documents.
that's where back
documents that
back
you're
in
Go ahead.
January 2024, this case was good to go to trial in Romania, right, Crayons?
Yeah, it went through a pre-trial phase called the preliminary chamber, and that's where a single judge reviews the entire indictment to make sure that everything was legally obtained, nobody's rights were violated, everything was up to par and ready to go to trial. That judge ordered the trial. They said, "Yep, this is ready to go," and they ordered the trial. And there would have been another hearing to determine when the actual trial date would have started. But Tate appealed that decision. So the indictment went in front of the appellate court. So now 2 judges overlook it. And it's my understanding that judges actually identified some of their own issues that Tate's team didn't even bring up that were like preliminary issues. So it was the appellate judges that found the issues. And it was, some of them were more than DCOT could have fixed in 5 days. For example, there was one particular issue where I forget exactly what it's called, but it's something about Andrew's right to a fair trial was violated for one particular charge. And that had to do with, I believe he didn't have enough time to mount a defense for one particular alleged victim that was found in the case. So that's not something you can fix in 5 days. Right. So it all has to go back then. It's all or nothing.
But this is the absurdity. It's they claim over and over again, oh, there's so much corruption in Romania. There's nothing to this, where it's because of US aid and Biden and blah, blah, blah that we're being, prosecuted in Romania. But then they'll get a legal win like that. And then they'll claim it and say, see, look, we're innocent men. So they want it every way. They want to say that, the Romanian criminal, that all of it is completely fake, made up, drummed up. But then when they get an actual win and it goes their way, they'll claim it and say that that's valid,
Yeah, and what's crazy is the one thing they can't say is like fake or made up is apparently the scope fucking thing that their lawyer has to.
But this is also like
really acknowledge is about to come out.
But also, like, I always like to point out that, like, if anyone remembers, I'm sure you've seen this clip where Andrew Tate says that one of the primary reasons that he decided to move to Romania was because of how hard it was to get criminally charged with rape there. That you cannot just make false accusations because he'd been accused in the UK. So he said one of the main reasons I moved to Romania was because there's such an incredibly high bar for people to be criminally charged with rape. Cut to him then being criminally charged with rape.
He says in that video, he says something, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something along the lines of, I'm not a rapist, but I want to do what I want to do. Or something. It was something along those lines. Just like,
now he's calling the whole Romanian system as corrupt as Zambia or whatever.
So there's another interesting thing that's happening, and there's two arguments that are happening, or 2 stories that are happening. One is the public narrative that's being shared by their entire team, their students, the lawyers, everything. And it's like, oh, these things are fake, and this was thrown out because it was illegal. This was thrown out because it was translated wrong or whatever. And then what's happening in court, or what happened in court in Romania, does not align with that in any way, shape, or form. Nothing was thrown out because it was illegal. In fact, the judge said that he verified the indictment and said that it was put together legally. It just had some procedural issues that had to be corrected. There was nothing illegal. They were not fighting against translations. They were not arguing against fabricated anything. Like, oh, they fabricated all these chats. Well, that's weird because you didn't mention that in court. In Romania, that was never brought up. So there's a public side of this, and then there's what's actually happening in court. And we know that because of the documents that you've been able to get through the Freedom of Information Act in Romania. I know that because Romania has 2 court portals where you can get all the judicial decisions and you can see some of the defense arguments that they make and you see what the judges say. So yeah, I mean, all this stuff, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, it's all there for you to find.
Well, what I find interesting about this particular McBride tweet is it's everything with the Tates. You have the lies, and then under it, the tweet that, you guys can't find that's under there somewhere is some guy is responding saying, Cope by Cope, Crayons is going to dismantle this whole statement, right? And then it's Joe McBride replying to him saying, Crayons is the subject of a major investigation that's going to result in a lawsuit of biblical proportions and potentially even criminal charges. And it's them really like playing out their hand there. They're not playing out their hand, but saying like, look, these are our intentions. We're going to go after these guys reporting on these cases, and they did exactly that.
Yeah, well, did you see his latest post?
Gadget,
now he said he's coming for me personally now.
Gadget, do you have that?
I did see that. I actually want to read that on stream too.
Do you have that clip of Tristan Tate where he's in the tuxedo and like celebrating with champagne and saying,
"Oh
yeah"? Can you send that to me? Because it's a similar thing to this, where he's saying, where he's clearly talking about us, and he's saying that he's going to sue us, but also that's going to lead to criminal charges. But anyway, it's very similar to this.
He's saying something about that house your mother has. I'm going to take it, or something along those lines. Like, yeah, my mom doesn't live in a house, dude. Like, okay, you're going to take the nursing home she's in. Good job. Good luck with that, brother.
I just DM'd it to you, Nathan.
Okay, but yeah, that's wild, man. This guy's got like 1,700 followers, and McBride.
Cope by Cray. Here's the funny thing. No one since I've started talking about the case has been able to correct me on anything. No community notes, no nothing. I used to run open contests for the fans that would just post misinformation. And I would be like, all right, if anybody can prove, if you can show that document that this person said this, or, to back up your claim, I'll delete my account today. Nobody even ever stepped up to the plate ever. But they accuse me of lying. They accuse me of making stuff up and fabricating things. But
it is crazy that, and we're now going on multiple years now of you personally making their lawyer crash out.
I can't wait until this is over so I can just talk about something else. I'm even thinking about, people are like, well, what are you going to do when it's over? People love to say it's my career. Your career here is over. It's like, dude, I'm not even making money. Like, I don't give a shit what happens to my account. I might actually leave it just as a preserved documentation of like the entire thing that happened. Like, I might just
anybody that thinks these guys are making loads of money off this shit, they're just not. That is just crazy.
Yeah. Do we have that video?
Let me pull up
of the 1,000.
Here we go.
There it is.
This was around that time, right, where they were claiming that the case was dismissed.
It was late 2024, so months before they had filed the lawsuit.
Yeah,
several months maybe before.
Yeah. So you can watch this, and you can tell that they were talking about us.
I am here because today, of the thousands of viewers joining us around the world, I just know, I have a feeling deep in my soul that we have a few special viewers, Andrew.
Interesting.
A few special viewers who are very important people, entwined in the lives, entwined in the events that have gone on in my life over the last few years. And they're watching this, wondering what I'm going to say. I mean, legally now I can talk about them, I can do all sorts of things. And they're nervous. And I would like to reassure these people, I'm here for one reason and one reason only on today's emergency meeting, to let you know that you don't have to worry about a thing. But you are going to jail. You are going to jail. And for those of you watching, my special viewers who are not going to jail, I'm going to financially bankrupt you. You know that house your mother owns, your father, your uncle, where you live, your business? I'm going to take everything you have. And some of you are in fact going to jail. Now, I know what you're thinking, Andrew. Well, jail, that's not that bad. Jail is fun. But hear me out.
Okay.
It's only fun for me and you, because we're tough guys.
We're fucking tough guys.
These people aren't tough guys.
They can't handle it like
They
us.
are not tough guys and tough girls.
No, they're not.
They're going to have a horrible time in jail. But they are going. So the whole purpose of me coming here today is to drink champagne, smoke my cigar. You could talk about podcast, schmodcast, lawfare. I just want to remind a few special viewers who I know are watching tonight that you are going to jail or losing your job or losing your business and or house. Thank you. I will take your house.
Who's in jail, Tristan?
Yeah, who's laughing now, dude? You guys are having all the fun in the world now. Is there lawyers tweeting about how they have to share one Snicker bar for 3 days?
Tristan Tate's complaining about he's lost like 13.
Yeah. What I think is they're like
hungry.
They're like eating Doritos and drinking toilet water or something, according to their lawyer. I don't know.
They got a cannibal next door.
The receipt for their commissary showed 1 day, and it's like they're each eating like 3 candy bars apiece, and meanwhile their lawyer just lying.
Yeah,
but this is where
on top of.
So be honest. When you guys first saw that, were you guys shitting your pants a little bit?
I think you alerted me to that like months later. Like I don't watch that. I don't watch their stuff, but I don't think we actually saw that until later.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how seriously to take it, but then once they filed the lawsuit, I'm like, okay, they were talking about us, because I wasn't sure how much of it was directed at us, how much of it was directed at their alleged victims.
Well, nobody's done anything against the law. That's the thing. Like nobody,
he's talking about criminal charges there. Like nothing. Right. Did they ever even allege that at any point?
No, nothing like that. The whole thing is absurd. Just you're going to jail. Oh, I'm going to jail for hurdy words. Okay, sure.
But you saw McBride saying in Crayons that you're going to go to jail. So that kind of tracks with what they've said, as ridiculous as it is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in their head that sounded like the right thing to say, but I haven't broken any laws. So, I hope you guys are enjoying the cannibal that's screaming in your cell block right now.
Yeah, sure.
This is where Andrew thinks he's having sing-alongs in the jail cell. He's posting about we all broke out into song and he's losing his mind.
This is where it shows just like how incredibly petty they are.
Yeah,
like incredibly petty. They get a legal victory, and Tristan Tate literally rocks up in a tuxedo and champagne for the sole reason of
just a refiling. This legal victory was nothing, right?
I don't know. It's
the legal victory they're celebrating there is that Romania had to just refile some stuff.
It was a significant delay, so it was a win in that sense.
But yeah, his primary thought is us. That was his primary thought, is to then come onto this stream and then threaten us. But that's the thing. It's like he won't do that on on podcasts or in interviews. He'll rarely even. I mean, they won't do it at all because they're in solitary confinement now. But since they filed a lawsuit, they wouldn't even talk about it because they're incredibly petty. But they know how weak it makes them look to sue just like tiny accounts on X.
They're suing.
When was that clip from? Is that 2024 as well?
Yeah, it was from late 2024. I think it was around the time that the case got sent back to the prosecutors. So it was like, that's what, 3-4 months before they sued us. So they were obviously working on the lawsuit that was in the works, and they obviously knew that.
And then you cut to this tweet. It's 2026, and this guy's still crashing out on Crayons. So fucking good, man.
Me this time,
I don't think I've ever lived in someone's head as much as I do these guys. And it's a fucking crayon, man. That's what makes it even fun. The fact that people are like referencing a crayon, I just laugh. I can't help but laugh.
The fact that it's their lawyer too, dude. It's their fucking lawyer. Like it's the most unprofessional. It's like you think of a lawyer. At least I do. I think of like very professional, gonna just focus on what's important, probably gonna ignore most of the Twitter BS. It's like, no, dude, this guy is tweeting as of what? Yesterday? 2 days ago? Yeah. Crayons is on the hook for defamation. Oh, as of today, this is going to be great. I'm coming for you personally this time. And then he writes another tweet under it. No escaping it. It's like, bro.
But you're right. You're right, Crayons. It's like people who don't know who you are, literally, he seems like a psycho. Like, what is he talking about? Crayons?
He's angry about
What
his drawing
Hold
not
on.
turned out how he wanted, or what?
Hold on. He's writing in all. He was so triggered. He was writing in all caps twice. He was writing in all caps twice. Here, I actually never looked at this. What time did he make the first post? Because the second one he made at 1:20. Can you click on that first one and see?
I don't know. That's Australian time though. To be fair,
I know,
to
but still, I
McBride,
want to see if
not
there's
that
a time
It
difference.
was
Like, I
1
wanna
minute
see-
later.
What? So he
Right,
made
yeah.
this post and he was like, "Damn it, I'm not finished," and he came back in and started yelling at
It
you.
was It was four minutes. Yeah, it was immediately.
Now, I have no idea what he's talking about. I haven't done anything to even hint towards anything wrongdoing towards him. I think he's a clown, but that's an opinion. Yeah, but here's the interesting thing. He's opposing counsel, right? Like he's the head of their legal team. Now he's saying that he is personally coming after me this time. Like I'm not sure how I should take that. I mean, I fully.
No, and these
expect him
guys
to
took
try to sue
action.
me, but-
Like we're laughing at it, but he did take action last time. The Tates did.
No,
take
yeah,
action.
no. Like I fully expect him to try to sue me, but I'm just saying, like, I number one, I don't know what I did. Number two, I don't know how he thinks this is going to work for him a second time. And if his lawyering is, in this is anything like what he's doing now, I might even represent myself.
Wipe the floor with him.
Like Willie, can I hire you to represent me?
No, I don't have any legal experience, but I think we'd be on the same
you're
level as
perfect.
Joe McBride.
You're perfect. You're hired. No, seriously, I have no idea what he's talking about. No idea what he's talking about. But wow, he's coming for me personally this time. I don't know. It sounds kind of. I feel kind of intimidated, a little bit threatened by that. But we'll see. I'm sure
It's
he'll file.
dude. It's funny, but it is crazy. It is fucked up. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like this is you guys probably don't know who this is, but there's Jeremy the Quartering. Where he always makes all these threats and stuff, but it never actually amounts to anything. It's like, dude, these guys are actually fucking doing it, and they do it all the time. They've done it for years.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't matter if he sues me again. Like nothing he does is going to keep these guys from going to the UK. Like, all the hate towards me, all the mean comments, all the smear campaigns that people have done, none of that is going to stop these guys from being extradited to the UK. None of that is going to stop these guys from going to trial in the UK. Nothing is going to stop that. So, you're going to come at me with whatever bullshit pettiness that you're going to come for, whatever. It's nothing
This
is going to
guy's
change.
Twitter is fucking like it could be a video on itself. Like, what the fuck is some of this shit, man?
Have you seen his AI slop he's been posting, Willie?
Dude, yeah, it's unfucking hinged. Like one of these is just like.
What is that?
I don't even know what the audio is of this. It's like an image of
What
him
the
looking
fuck?
buff, wearing sunglasses with a cigar. What is that supposed to
Will,
be?
Okay, can we just
The fuck
pause
is
for a
that?
second? Can we pause for a
Can
second?
you imagine?
here?
Can you imagine if Hopkins, our attorney, was posting shit like this?
Oh my God! No, we've got a great. Yeah, Hopkins is great. But just pause for a second and just think of yourself. You have just been arrested. You are sitting in a detention center with a cannibal next door. You're drinking toilet water and eating Snickers bars, and you're facing extradition for charges that, if convicted, you could go away for several decades or possibly even life. And this is what your lawyer is posting on the internet.
I mean,
Your
it
lawyers-
is. I might pull an Epstein and just tie some bed sheets together in jail if this guy's representing me, dude. My fucking
Man.
God.
Like, wow.
Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't new though. This has always been their strategy.
Yeah.
Somehow their strategy
Chaos.
is,
It's chaos.
but it's also the more messed up the allegations are, the more you lean into trying to pretend that it's absurd and hilarious. I mean, this is literally, even while they were out free, they were still criminally charged. There'd be like articles that came out about Andrew Tate reports allegations of rape, and this clown would reply to the articles on Twitter with like laughing emojis.
Yeah.
So this isn't new.
He called me gay. I said, because I said something about that. I said, define it. Oh, I'll DM it to you. I'll DM it to you, Willie. It's Or Nathan, not him to you, so you can.
Gadget, they crash out so hard on you. Milk Bar, for whatever reason, they seem afraid of you, dude.
They do.
I don't know if it's your,
They're completely.
because your shit goes the most viral. And I've seen clips over the years, like back in 2023 when I got in to the Tate stuff. I've seen clips of yours that were going viral, being posted everywhere, and he wouldn't name you or anything. They wouldn't respond directly to you. They were just like, yeah, this Twitter video is going around, and they're like keeping it as ominous as they possibly could.
No, that's like Candace as well. Every now and again, she'll have to acknowledge me, but they try and just pretend like I don't exist.
Yeah.
I just DM'd you, McBride calling you gay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was questioning him about the laugh emojis. Yeah, I was. There you go.
What does this
There you go. So he was laughing at the laugh, and I said, Joseph, does the story about the women said bursting in the still amuse you? This is him. Top G is innocent and you're gay.
Wow, hold on, dude. Scroll up. The picture is crazy though. This is an article, it looks like, that says, scroll up a little bit. What's that say? It says quotes from a victim, I'm guessing, or alleged victim, saying, Tate raped and strangled us. Woman talked to the BBC and Panorama. And then he responded laughing at that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just asked if he still finds that funny, and he said, Top G's innocent, you're gay. This is what he's doing.
And you're gay.
And you're
gay. That is fucking...
This guy with this...
What is his profile
avatar
picture there, too?
His avatar calling you gay.
Right.
Yeah, he's literally got like a rainbow cosmos behind him, and he's calling you gay.
Yeah.
Wow, this was a very unhinged picture, actually. Everything about this tweet is fucking insane.
He's done that multiple times too, about similar articles, just laughing emojis.
Yeah, it's happened more than once.
Have you guys seen the comments under his podcast?
No.
They're so good. It's him getting destroyed. The comments are just eating him alive.
On YouTube?
And he gets no
Yeah,
views.
I linked it.
No.
So just scroll through some of those comments. They're so good.
Oh,
I tell you what, it really is. Them getting arrested in Miami, the world being introduced to Joseph McBride is the greatest thing to come out of this.
Joseph McBride is peak lolcow. Like, he's peak content.
Yeah.
I keep saying, if this guy gets a reality TV show, I'm tuning in every week.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, I think he fancies himself as like a MAGA influencer. Like,
just scroll down. Don't play any of this. Just read some of these comments.
This is Andrew Tate wannabe. He called them hostages. Yeah, I'm not even going to read some of these because they're going to reframe it and say that I made it up. I can't say some of these.
But like, one of them cracks me up because it's like one of the big things they're talking about, or at least Joe McBride is. And maybe I don't understand the UK legal system either, but it's the second to top comment is this guy saying like McBride's arguing. What's that say?
That's so
this guy
good.
could get a parking ticket commuted to murder.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there. But he argues that the UK is just trying to force the Tates into a plea deal, so they spend 2 years in jail instead of life in prison, right? And one of the top...
That's not happening.
One of these say that the UK doesn't do plea deals.
Not like that. No, not like they do in the American system, no. And they're not making these deals while they're waiting in jail, waiting to be extradited. Anything that could happen will happen once they actually get to the UK. They don't even have the full extradition packet yet. So they brought them in. They arrested them under what's called a provisional arrest, which is essentially saying, hey, we are going to extradite these guys. We're requesting to extradite these two guys, place them under provisional arrest. We'll provide the entire extradition packet within the next 60 days to give you all of the information of the case, and then we can discuss extradition. So, yeah, so they're not getting any of that information yet. But they know about the goat sex, which is...
Yeah, well, what's with this Romania, this new stuff that I'm seeing, like some articles come out about that's like them working with terrorists or something, or like working with Russia because they did these like promo shooting range videos where they're like blowing stuff up and wearing the army gear, and they're like literally LARPing as soldiers.
The UK The politician in UK has referred them to. I don't know what the group is called. I'm not in the UK, but it's something about they want them looked into for possible. It's not the fact that they actually went there and they went and did the shooting stuff. It's that if it was a state-sponsored trip, if Russia paid for their trip or compensated them, then they need to report that. That's something that actually has to be reported. And so it's the investigation. They want them to see if it was a state-sponsored trip or not, where they compensated.
Interesting.
Because there it is. Yeah.
Man, I don't care if I'm Putin. I'm not touching these guys with the 10-foot pole, dude. I'm not paying them shit. It's the worst PR ever.
Man, like it doesn't end, dude. It's just like one thing after another thing, after another thing, after another thing. And people say, oh, well, this is obviously a Matrix attack. The counter to that.
Russia's the Matrix too?
Yeah. So there's only two possibilities here. Possibility one is that this is all a giant Matrix attack and the entire world is in cahoots to get these guys because they told young guys to do push-ups. Option number two is these are two of the dumbest fucking human beings that have ever walked the face of the earth. And they've just everything that they've ever said or possibly done is all just catching up to them. I don't know which one is which, but
it is crazy because in their old videos, like when I first talked about them in like 2022 when they were popping off, it's very clear like back then, like they really wanted to be famous. Like that was like a very key motive for Andrew Tate was trying to be famous. They were both signing up for reality TV shows. He was doing like these massive podcast tours. Like part of me does wonder if they just kept it low key and never did this whole like top G persona, if they'd ever get found out or charged at all. Because it was because of the embassy call, right? That broke all of this open.
Well, maybe. I mean, that's what caused the raid in April. But we know from another court document that we found in Romania, completely by accident, mind you, there's another investigation regarding some guys with a casino. And in that investigation, Nathan, can you search my account for the word pimping? Pimping or blackmail, one or the other. So we found a section.
A lot.
We found put blackmail. We found a section in another document where they mentioned the Tate brothers, and they were looking into them for possibly pimping and organized crime and prostitution, and that was before the April raid. Now, I've never seen anything else about it. Maybe the investigation pulled up nothing, but I know at one time they were being looked at some level regarding those offenses. So they were already on the radar. And then the call to the embassy led to the raid. So the call to the embassy was something like, hey, we believe that there is an American citizen.
But that wasn't necessarily the initial.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, look, here.
Right
here it is right here. He's got it on the screen. Pimping, blackmail, forming of an organized criminal group. This is allegedly in connection to a casino. I list the document down below there, but nothing ever came of it that I'm aware of.
Well, maybe at a certain point though, they didn't even need this shit anymore. You know?
Yeah, it's possible. I will say this though: Andrew is an excellent communicator. He has the gift of gab, and I know he's worked that. If you look at his older videos, he was terrible, but now I mean he's really worked on how to become an effective communicator. So he had potential. If he would have just been on the straight and narrow and didn't get involved in the sex industry and all of that, maybe he could have had a really different life. But now he's sitting in jail.
Well, I mean, these if you look at the like really successful scammers and con artists, they all have that trait.
Valid.
There is
it's like all these people. I get if you're a big fan of these guys, why you like, because how many YouTube videos have I seen where it's like people will talk to him, they'll be like, you don't seem like you're like this bad guy or something. You're pretty funny. You're pretty likable, right? And it's like, well, of course, that's the scam. If everyone could tell just by talking to him, it would be the worst fucking scam ever. He'd never fool anyone.
Yeah.
We've seen journalists say that too. Like spending time with him, he knows how to match the energy that you're comfortable with, and like he's very good at that in person. I've seen a number of journalists say that. So he obviously has that kind of charisma that he can make people think he's something he's not.
But he's a really good, I mean, like he's an amazing podcast guest, you know, and that's why you saw so many people hosting him because he is good for views. But one thing, it's like he cannot keep his mouth shut. That's the other thing. It's the guy, as we established, you know, and I'm being sued, so I'm going to be careful with my wording. I believe he's a compulsive liar, but he also tells the truth a lot as well. And tells the truth in ways that is very surprising. You know, like on Your Mum's House, like one of the biggest podcasts, he's talking about this. He's talking about being in the casino game with literal like mafia members from like the Polish mafia. And he's talking about how he got in with them. And it's a really fascinating, like his way of doing it, where you figure out how to do it, where like to offer free coffee and it's really smart. Like he's good at what he does. It's like it's illegal what he did, I believe. But the crazy thing is that like there is a world where he could have been like a Jordan Belfort, like Wolf of Wall Street, where he did like speaking circuit and
yeah, he thinks he's above the law though. The reason why he's doing this because
but also the other thing is that like, you know, according to Bree Stern, his ex, he couldn't sexually get off without degrading women. And
right, that's in her filing.
There's a lot of women. But like there's a lot of women who like, you know, it seems like this is a genuine pattern. Like it seemed like he was a guest of Donald Trump, where there was people in the Trump administration who pulled strings to get him out of Romania while he's criminally charged with like, you know, everything that we've mentioned, including allegedly having sex with a minor and trafficking of minors. So he's like a guest of the Trump administration. And then it seemed like he couldn't go 1 month, allegedly, without seemingly sexually assaulting a woman and then getting criminally like investigated for it.
Dude, yeah, he's got court cases across like 3 countries, guys. Now his court cases here are civil, right? But the Bree Stern one's civil.
Well, here let's walk through this for a second. Number one, and their fans don't know this because they don't cover their losses. They lost a tax evasion civil case in the UK. The UK sued them for tax evasion. They lost that case. They ended up having to pay $2 or $3 million or something like that. They lost that case. They sued Meta, claiming that they were falsely kicked off the platform or whatever, falsely banned. That was a brutal loss, a brutal dismissal from Meta. The absolutely brutal dismissal. They lost that one of flying. I mean, it was a horrible fucking dismissal. Then they had the TikTok lawsuit, which California said this isn't our jurisdiction, and they deferred that to Singapore to deal with. They're not going to win in Singapore, so that's going to be lost. They lost in our first lawsuit within 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. Listen, by the way, when I say they lost in 10 minutes, that's including the welcoming message from the judge and all of the counsel going around and introducing themselves. That's included in that 10 minutes. Brutal loss on that one. So, you know, they go through these losses and they don't mention their losses. Everything's just winning. So in the United States, yes, they have multiple civil cases. They're suing people. They're getting countersued. Bree Stern is suing them. There's another gentleman who's suing them for fraud in Nevada.
I saw that.
He's peeling back all the layers of ownership with the real world and all of that stuff. That's a really interesting thing to follow. So they're being sued for fraud. Bree Stern is suing them. Jane Doe is suing them in a countersuit. They're suing Jane Doe and her parents. They're suing us. The Department of Justice has a criminal investigation open for the Tate brothers. Last I heard, I haven't seen anything that says that that's been closed. Then you have the UK, which has a civil case against Andrew for 4 women alleging that he raped them. That's a civil case. They're trying to reopen the criminal case on that one. They have another criminal case for all the stuff they're going to get extradited for. Then they have a Romanian case that we talked about earlier with all of these charges that have been mounting up. Then another case in Romania that was pulled off of the original case for Tristan specifically in Georgiana for the woman who allegedly got assaulted because Tristan, according to the documents, told Georgiana to hit her and throw her out. And apparently Georgiana did. And the woman went to the police station, and because Luana was a former police officer, they pushed the woman not to actually pursue this and called Luana to technically come and get her. Imagine running to the police for help and then the police calling the person that you're running away from. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's a horror story.
Yeah. And by the way, that happened long before Jane Doe went to Romania. I believe that happened in 2021. So that was long before Jane Doe ever got involved. So yeah, they have that going on as well.
I find it interesting that one of the Tate's tweets, I believe it was Andrew's tweet, was the only thing that could stop me is international cooperation. And that's rare. And you are actually seeing that come together where it's like, there's nowhere to run to now.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Romania, in one of their documents, I think Mircea Barbu shared this. He's a fantastic Romanian journalist who's been doing excellent work covering the Tate cases in Romania. But he shared a document that Romania sent him or sent somebody that basically said that they were cooperating with the UK and the United States. I believe it was him who shared it. So yeah,
like even Mexico sent documents at this point too.
Oh, that one's a whole interesting conversation. So the Department of Justice apparently reached out to Mexico and said, did you issue a passport under the name Vladimir Scorpius? And Mexico says, no, we didn't issue a passport under that name. However, as it's come to find out, he has an identity in Mexico that you can look up online through their I think it's called a CURP number, which is like an identification number for Mexico, where it's, can you guys pull that up? So if you can go to the Mexican website, put in this particular number, and it will pull up a certification, or rather it's a certificate actually, where it has a picture of Tristan, the name Vladimir Scorpius, and has his birthday and all of that. So he has an identity in Mexico as Vladimir Scorpius, but Mexico says he didn't issue it.
He's literally a Bond villain. He's literally a Bond villain. They talk about how this was just some simple like Halloween costume. It's like, no, guys, like he actually went the distance with this.
Pull that up, enlarge that. Let's look at that certificate.
Enhance.
There it is. So you can see right there, I listed the CURP number, which is like SOXV, whatever that is. So if you take that number and then go to the Mexican government website, gob.mx, and put that number in, it's going to pull up this certificate that shows his identity. And it will also tell you that a migration document was used in order to get this. Now, I did some digging on this to figure out what how you get this in Mexico. So there's a couple of ways that this could have happened, but it all comes from a passport that would have been submitted under Vladimir Scorpius. So either a passport was given to get this under the name Vladimir Scorpius, don't know who issued it, or he was able to get Mexican residency in order to get this CURP number. But to get Mexican residency, he would have also needed a passport under that name, Vladimir Scorpius. So is that passport real? Was it fake? I have no idea. If we can
clearly
find
fake because his name isn't Vlad. Well, unless he changed his name in Mexico or some crazy shit. You're right.
Yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing. If we can find this, I'm sure the Department of Justice can find it. So all they have to do now, Mexico says we didn't issue a passport under his name, but they didn't specifically list that they didn't have him listed as a citizen under this name.
Right.
So we'll see. Yeah,
That's
like it's moved.
Yeah,
It's moved to a point now where you do have these countries that are cooperating with each other. And now we're talking about different named identities. And like, this is crazy. Crazy stuff.
Well, guys, I've kept you now for over 2 hours. I feel like we've covered a ton of things. Do you guys have any, each one of you want to say one last thing? We could wrap things up.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. The Andrew Tate, it's a rabbit hole, where there's so many different angles to approach it from. For me, I feel like there's going to be a Epstein effect where there's going to be a lot of people distancing themselves and how they prop these guys up, and I believe ran defense for them. And I believe that's going to be an important element if they do get extradited and if they do get convicted for the crimes. I think it's going to be very important for all these podcasters and people that pushed, I believe, their propaganda for them to be held accountable. That's that's an angle that I think is very important.
Gadget, Krantz.
Yeah, I'll follow up to that. My opinion, these guys are going to be extradited to the UK. They're going to stand trial in the UK. I don't know if they'll be convicted in the UK. Unlike Romania, we don't know the details of. All we know what the charges are in the UK. We don't have information. They don't put information out like Romania does. In Romania, we had thousands of pages of documents, that have come out of Romania. We have lots of detail, forensically extracted chat messages that came off of their devices, for example. None of that stuff is ever going to come out of the UK. So they're going to be extradited to the UK. If they are convicted, I believe that they will probably do significant prison time if they're convicted. Will that turn them into martyrs? I don't know. I have a strong suspicion that their fan base will only turn that into their conviction as only proof that it was a Matrix attack. People who have that conspiracy mindset, they're never going to acknowledge that, hey, if they're convicted, maybe they did these things. They're going to instead turn this into, see, it's proof that the government was after them. This is totally a Matrix attack.
Yeah, no, conspiracy theorists, and if you cover them at all for any amount of time, you will quickly find out they come up with the conclusion, and then any information that follows is they twist it to always be proof of their conclusion. All roads lead to Rome when it comes to dealing with conspiracy theorists.
100%, man. But you're spot on with that one. And
and also it's like somehow I don't know how Andrew Tate. That's the thing. The crazy thing is, the more allegations, the more charges, the more evidence somehow proves more innocent. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, it is really, really interesting thought process there.
I also believe that if they're convicted, all of these people who have been propping them up and who have been helping them spread misinformation and disinformation and who have gone to bat for them and taken pictures with them, if they're convicted, I believe it's going to be a same situation that you see with like the Epstein stuff, to where it's like, why were you photographed with Jeffrey Epstein in Romania? Or I'm sorry, why were you photographed with Jeffrey Epstein on Epstein's Island? Right? Like, what were you doing in Romania with these guys? So I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go under the microscope if there is a conviction with these guys, especially if they were traveling with them, especially if they were helping them, smear, whatever it is that's actually happening, if they're trying to help them spin that into.
Please let that happen to Jack Neal. Please, God, let that happen to Jack Neal. It would be so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think about that. Imagine. I don't know. They could go to the UK and they could end up, walking on all those charges. That's possible. But if they are convicted, especially of, Andrew with his indecent images of a child, imagine going to bat for someone repeatedly for years, only for that person to be convicted of indecent images of a child and goat fucking porn, right? How do you even recover from that?
Dude, these guys are not walking from the CP charges in Romania, or not in Romania, in the UK. Dude, that shit is on film. These girls are identified. They're cooked on that. They're not winning that charge.
Yeah, I mean, it's, my opinion is I think something's got to get. There's too many charges. Dude, I think there's a total.
Yeah, they might beat a couple charges, like maybe some of these rape charges, because it's hard to convict a rape anywhere, right? But they're going down for some shit over there.
Rape is incredibly difficult. Number one, it's difficult to get charged with rape. Number two, it's even more difficult to get a rape conviction, especially if there's not a rape kit or, really hard evidence. It's difficult. Right. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. So I do believe too, I think based on what we've seen from Romania and all the evidence that we've seen in Romania, I believe that there will be some charges that they beat and there will be some charges that they don't beat. And I do believe that there will be, probably there'll be a conviction. I just don't know how long they'll go to prison for if there is a conviction. But I'm basing all this on what I've known from Romania. Because in the way I look at this is, if you have a history here, I can't imagine that similar charges in a different country are going to be much different. There's probably some crossover. And, Romania, the document they filed with the Department of Justice, they have 46 alleged victims that they found in Romania. And a lot of those women, I know the last I looked, there was around a dozen of them who had given statements that were not favorable to the Tate brothers. So, yeah. So and we see crossover. Like you see women in one country and women in another country. And then you have Bree Stern saying that Andrew did this to me. And everything that they say he did, they all have the same story. He really likes to, according to the women, he really likes to choke them hard during sex. Some of them said they've passed out. Some of them have said that he beats them in the head while he's choking them and violently having sex with them that they didn't. Yeah. So, I think in that situation, when you have so many different women that have a similar story who don't know one another, I have to take notice of that. It looks like there's a pattern. If there was one woman or two women who said, yeah, this guy raped us, you might say, okay, we'll see, maybe. But you have multiple women. You know what? I think there's how many in the?
We're
in the
potentially
UK?
to like
I believe. I
70
think
total,
I think
right?
there's at least 10 women alone who've accused him of choking them. That's just at least 10 women accusing him of choking him across a decade, across Romania, UK, and America. I don't know how you create that conspiracy.
Even the 15-year-old alleged victim in Romania's second case, where he got charged with continuous sex acts with a minor, her statement, the partial statement that they showed in that document, she said that he choked her unconscious while having anal sex with her, and he had to like slap her back to consciousness.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah, the UK, there's some horrible stuff in the UK. It seems like with the accusations, similar things where unconscious women, and he'll have, allegedly have sex with them, including anally, while he allegedly knows that they're unconscious. That's a pattern, it appears.
I mean, there's literally voice notes of him talking about it in the UK.
Yeah.
That these women have, and that are available. If you've seen my second video, that would be. It's not out now. I'm waiting for the sponsor's approval, but
no, Matt Jury, the lawyer for the UK, the civil case alleged victims, he personally has confirmed those voice memos are from Andrew Tate.
Yeah. The whole thing's crazy, and all of this is going on. All of these charges, all these investigations, all of these accusations from different women from all over the world, and then we're getting sued for. we are getting sued for reporting on it and giving our opinions on it. That's just absolutely insane. Absolutely.
Yes, and they're so much more mild than so many YouTubers that have talked about this stuff. Like, they're picking on them because people don't know who these guys are. Like, people, they don't have this massive following. That's why.
I'd like to think it's because they don't know who we are, but I also like to think it's because how effective. You can see McBride with going after crayons,
Yeah, no, you guys are the ones that break all this shit to like the normies like me who end up covering it, right? So if they're like viewing you guys as like silence the sources, go after the sources.
Yeah. But you can't silence you can't stop. Listen, anyone can do this. Like, nobody has superpowers. Like, all you have to do is just, you have to figure out like how to get documents. You have to learn how to like analyze the documents. You have to learn a little bit about law, and then just report on what's happening. You don't even have to give commentary on anything anymore. Just report on what's happening. Here's the funniest thing. I reported on can you pull up my tweet, Nathan, where I mentioned about how the lawyer said that he's renting his cars? Can you pull that up really quick? So when I shared the court document, a snippet out of the court document, and I quoted the lawyer, and I just said, in this filing that the lawyers are saying that he's renting his Bugattis and the Aston Martins and all of this stuff. I didn't even give commentary. Oh my God. People are just losing their fucking minds talking like I'm the one who said it. Like, people are creating threads about me as if I'm the one who
literally just quoted the document word verbatim.
Read it. There's no commentary there whatsoever.
Yeah, Andrew Tate's lawyer just told a U.S. federal court that Tate's Aston Martin and Bugatti are rented. And then, in quote, the $2.1 million Aston Martin and $5 and $7 million Bugattis featured in Tristan's videos were rented. And there it is highlighted in the papers right there.
Yeah. I've had DMs telling me that I was going to get sued again for posting this. And they're saying, you can't defame them like this. I'm like, how fucking retarded are you, man? I'm posting what the lawyer said.
Even sorry to disrupt, just take us off course. Even the bottom of this document says Andrew Tate. He's saying he doesn't own any of his meme coin. Is it because he rug pulled everybody? Like, what are we talking about?
So this here, yeah. So they said about the meme coin. They said they quoted the DOJ. I'll cover this in my last video, and they said actually they were talking about the market cap, and they said they were correcting the DOJ. If you look at what they're responding to in the DOJ, the quote from the DOJ is Andrew Tate's meme coin market capitalization is. And Andrew Tate's lawyer's response is the DOJ quoted the government quoted the meme coin when the number they quoted was the market cap. It's really bizarre. And then they said he didn't start the meme coin, and
they're just playing word games.
Yeah, it's like his crypto dev Issa the Cooker on Twitter actually is the one that creates the meme coins, and Andrew's on video a million times saying this is my coin, daddy. So it's just, like you said, word games.
The funny thing is the fans and people, they're coming in, they're like, oh, you guys are stupid. You don't understand how rich people protect their assets. Like, this isn't a conversation about asset protection. This is an argument that his lawyers, his counsel, are making in front of a federal judge to argue why they might not be a flight risk. This isn't about some tax strategy that they're talking to an accountant for. This is a federal judge they're making the statement to. And they're not trying to determine, the judge is not trying to determine, well, the cars must be rented. They're renting it from their own. No, the judge is going to say, okay, well, do you own the companies that are renting the cars to you? The only thing that matters is they have access to these assets. If they're rented or if they own the company that rents the cars to them, it doesn't matter. They have access to the
assets.
This
is about them being a flight risk is what you're saying.
Yes, 100%. This is about them being a flight risk, not about if they have a rental contract. And I just, I'm not going to lie.
So their response didn't make fucking sense.
Yeah. And look
in
at
the context of that being asked.
Look at the yacht comment, right? The super yacht does not belong to the Tates. They receive payment to promote the ship on social media. Right? Like
it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. There's literally a fucking boat. So this company might have, because I don't even know if to believe them or anything in lawyer's file. But this company might have paid to have alleged traffickers and rapists, child rapists, right? Like fucking to promote their escape boat. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, but it is. Like,
what are you guys doing?
It's about possible flight risk. That's what's going to be. That's what the judge is going to determine.
What, is the company going to sell them an island next? Like, this is kidding.
Right.
The optics of it is so bizarre.
Listen, I'm not going to lie. I have days where I log into to X and I read this stuff, or a new document will come out, and I consider deleting my account and just walking away. Like, usually a couple of times a week, I'm just like, I can't even do this anymore. This is so absurd now. I feel like we're in a Ren and Stimpy episode, or just something absurd.
What I can I ask?
And now we have goat sex. Like the icing on the shit cake is goat sex. What is going on?
I'm genuinely interested, Crayons, because I've pulled back quite a bit over the past year, because I just personally think that Tate's relevancy has just completely collapsed. But I'd be interested, like, what do you think will be the moment where you're like, all right, I'm done. I can close up shop. My missions succeeded.
I've said from day one that I want to see it through until their first trial, whatever that trial is. Because I mean, my children are grown now, but at the time, my youngest wasn't. And when I started this, I didn't want to do something and show them that I quit because it got difficult. Like, oh, this got, this was monotonous or this got difficult, so I quit. I felt from a father's perspective, I wanted to show I'm going to do this until this point, and then I'm actually going to do it until this point. So hopefully they'll get a trial in the UK, and then that will be the end of it. I was really hoping for the civil trial in the UK, which actually had a date, but unfortunately it got postponed. So there will come a point where I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. I saw it through to the first trial, like I said I was going to do. I'm on Spaces talking about that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But then that's it. Like, I don't care. I don't care what happens to these guys. I started something and I want to see it through to a certain stage. So
yeah, I like that. Gadget, you got any final words you want to add or a final statement?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I wanted to add, I mean, at the end of the day, the most important out of all the ridiculousness we see from the Tates lawyer and everything at the moment, the most important thing is that there's allegedly 50 plus women that they've hurt. But one thing I'm seeing a lot is that, like, in their defense, is that these guys are they're empowering young men and lifting up young men, and that's why they're coming after them. So this is a ridiculous defense. But one thing I've covered a lot on my channel over the years, what is their university, quote unquote, the real world, Hustlers University, as it used to be called. And I've covered so many times these guys just screaming at their fans on stream to give them money and sign up and buy their crypto. In my opinion, I've shown evidence of crypto rug pulls that they've done to their fans, stage Lamborghini giveaways and all these things. So one, it's a ridiculous defense of the crimes they're alleged to have committed, to say, but they empowered young men on the internet. But even that, I think, is an absolute ridiculous myth that they've done that. They've, in my opinion, exploited young men and many young teenage boys, just like they've exploited women, not just the same way, but so that's, yeah, that kind of talking point is just really ridiculous. So I'd be very interested to see if anything comes of their alleged scams against young men, as well as what they've done against young women.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, the final thing I want to say is, guys, people watching, these guys have reported on this. They have paid the price, right? They aren't just paying the price with a lawsuit on YouTube. I feel like every time there's some sort of civil litigation, everyone wants to scream that it's like a frivolous lawsuit or it's bullshit, whether it's copyright or defamation or whatever. They're literally having papers filed against them where the people filing them know it's in the wrong jurisdiction. They know it's going to be thrown out, and they're doing it anyway. Like, nothing's more bullshit than that. These guys have a legitimate case. I never promote anybody's GoFundMe, right? This shit is worth giving them money. It's worth paying these guys and letting them defend themselves against the Tates. And I really hope that once they're put in jail, all this shit drops and they, like, give up on this whole thing. But again, I don't really know. Like, yeah, if they were convicted, does your shit all get thrown out? How's that work?
No.
Yeah, right. Figures.
No. So, yeah, what happens to them criminally isn't going to impact their civil cases. It does give us, everybody, a stronger argument should it actually get that far to where the merits are being argued. Just like winning a defamation case isn't going to affect the criminal cases. It doesn't work the other way either. So there's a possibility that they could be convicted. They could spend decades in prison. And if they really wanted to be petty, they could keep dragging our cases out and everybody else's case out for years. Jane Doe's case has been going on since 2023, and it's still being drug out. And they finally have a trial date.
She's pro bono too, so it's like he's just doing it for the love of the game at that point.
Yeah. Well, I believe they're trying to frame this like a public thing here, to where it's like, if they can win against her in Florida, they're going to frame that as whatever happens to them criminally, it's clearly a stitch up because we've already proven that this girl is lying.
Right. Even though it does not work that way at all.
It doesn't work that way, but that might keep sales coming into the real world. It might keep sales coming into the war room.
Yeah, did you see how their lawyer like works for he like also sells the real world, but he calls it university.com.
McBride does that?
Yeah. If you look, he sells it in his podcast. It's called university.com. And it's colored different. It's colored blue and white. But if you scroll down, it's Tristan Tate, like in the review section, it's Tristan Tate calling it the real world.
Has he done that? I've seen that. Has he done that on his podcast?
Yeah, he did it in his most recent one. That's like getting all the funny comments on it.
Oh, I got to clip that. That's awesome because that's universe.com is a link to the real world. It's just another link to that. So he's literally shilling the real world. It's under
a different school name, and he frames it is way worse. Instead of framing it as like, oh, here's an extra way to make money or some shit. I mean, all the Tates frame it to get rich, but he's like, when you watch the podcast, he's like framing it as if it's real school.
Yeah, they call it, and Tate calls it my school. My school is, he says one of the reasons the Matrix is coming for him is because the education system's worried about his school.
Yeah, he's collapsing the education system by teaching people how to drop ship 15 years after drop shipping is worth making any money in.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
He's teaching kids about meme coins and drop shipping. The universities around the world are collapsing because of it.
And look at the AI slop that McBride himself is posting, and they teach AI generation in there, and it's the worst AI slop.
It's the worst AI, dude. It's so bad.
It's terrible. Oh.
Well, guys, that's all I got. All right, thank you guys so much for doing this. I know you're staying up late for it, but I think it was worth. I think it's good to have at least one section of the video. I don't know how the third video will be formatted necessarily yet, but that is dedicated to actually introducing people to you guys.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having us on like this. We get a lot of public support from X, but surprisingly, we don't get much YouTube support. And you mentioned it earlier, probably why.
You guys get more support from like mainstream media than YouTubers.
Yeah, we've got more support from mainstream media than anything else. But mainstream media does not lead to any funds. It doesn't actually lead to.
They don't link. They don't link to anything. They mention it. Oh, they have a fundraiser and they don't link it. Like there's nobody's going to search this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm not sure either. I mean, realistically, for it to lead the funds, it's hopefully something that other YouTubers pick up, like an H3 or like I don't know.
Yeah.
Other commentary people.
It would be great to have H3 get on this, or even CoffeeZilla. He's covered the Tates. Like it would just be great to get that support.
CoffeeZilla's in his own lawsuit problems, I think.
Yeah, true.
Oh, that's over.
True.
That's over.
True.
Oh, is that done?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good to hear that.
Which is an L for Logan Paul.
Good.
That's crazy. That's over, and I didn't hear fucking anything about it.
It was very quiet. I just saw a video of legal bites, I think, and I'm like, wow, shit, they've settled. So.
Oh, that's why they haven't talked about it. They've settled.
Yeah, so they obviously,
okay.
I guess they both can't talk about it, whatever. Yeah.
The interesting thing about YouTube for me is that so many YouTubers use the documents that that I've gotten and I've translated. I've translated the documents and gone through all this stuff, and they use them over and over and over and over and over again. News breaks, they use the stuff off of my account or Gadget's account or Nathan's account. It's like they do this stuff over and over, and you're like, hey man, could you like maybe mention in one of your next videos, just in passing, that we're being sued and we need help?
God. I mean, look,
and then you just get ghosted.
Even the Milk Bar video compilations, it's the same thing. Amount of YouTubers, right? See whether they use the Milk Bar.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if it was like one clip came from you guys or like a couple. It's like, dude, you guys have been the source of literally everything. Everything.
Yeah, and it's just like who at who at this point, like I don't know, who needs convincing that the Tate brothers are a negative force in the world.
Yeah.
So we put in years covering this, and in return we're now getting sued. So like we've said, it's we've been incredibly overwhelmed by the amount of people that rallied around us. But it'd be nice if more people who used the actual work that we put out there backed us and actually brought attention to this fundraiser, because we do need it. Like every single dollar is helping.
All right, well, we'll see what happens, guys. I'm wishing you the best, and
Hey,
You've done great work, and I hope you keep it up. And Milk Bar, whatever you're doing, dude, stay on it, man. Your Candace Owens shit is so funny. It's so good.
Well, we appreciate it, Will. You've been on
Yeah.
top of it as well. I said in the last stream. I'll say it again. I don't know why you're not part of this lawsuit, other than because he knows that.
Well, if it comes after me, it's like every YouTube contact I have, I feel like would
Yeah, exactly.
be
That's the
backing
thing.
it on that. It
You're
would just
too
be a
much of a
PR.
Yeah. I feel like
PR
we should
mess.
leave this. I feel like we should leave this on a positive, inspirational note. Can we pull up people doing push-ups for Daddy? I feel like it needs to close. I mean, we started with goat sex, and now we need to end with push-ups for Daddy. Just to bookend this live stream. Pull it up.
Let me see. Give me a second.
Maybe the greatest clip from the protest of all time.
Yeah.
Also, dude, here's another thing while he's pulling up this clip. Did you guys feel like when Myron showed up to that protest, it felt less like a protest for Tate and more like people just trying to get clout? Because he's like walking away.
Yes.
That whole group
Yes.
is just following him all the way to the Uber, blocks and blocks over.
That's the thing. The
Yes.
actual support for the Tates there was minuscule because there was definitely some clout there for Fresh and Fit and a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's Tyson Hockley trying to get an interview with Myron, and
And
it's
failing.
like, dude, it's not genuine. None of that shit's genuine.
No.
Yeah. It's a clout fest. Yeah, I
Look at
noticed
this.
that too. Oh my God.
Oh hell yeah, dude! Dude, the fucking Tate protest posted this, and he's like, hundreds of young men doing push-ups, and then it was turned into thousands of young men doing push-ups for Tate. It's like, dude, there's like 20 people here.
Zoom in on that.
His gray-haired old.
Dude, they're all like middle-aged too. It's just crazy, dude.
Seriously, half of these are Proud Boys, I swear.
This
Yeah. Well, guys,
Can you imagine?
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Willie.
And best of
appreciate
luck,
it.
guys.
Appreciate
Seriously, this has been so helpful. I'm going to stop the recording here. If you guys want to keep streaming, that's fine.
Yep. I appreciate you,
stress.
Willie.
Right.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right,
Will.
have a
We'll
good
do
day,
some,
guys. Have a good night.
Have a good one. I'm gonna do some super chats if you guys want to stick around.
Yeah, go
Um,
for it.
Might be some questions you want to answer. We got Paul about the Bugatti. McBride is lying because bail is Tate's last chance to run away. Google ECR Tate cars. What you will see there aren't rentals. I don't know. Crayons, do you know what that means?
Right. About the Bugatti, McBride is lying because bail is Tate's last chance to run away. Google ECR Tate cars. What you will see there aren't rentals. I think they're saying that there's something online where it shows that those cars are not rental cars.
Mm.
Yeah.
One thing is, like,
Here's the thing.
They're angry at us for thinking that we're saying every car's rented. We know they're not all rented.
Right.
The Romanian case show that, right, Crayons?
Yeah, and I posted that too. I posted the Romanian document that shows the cars that were confiscated there. It shows the ownership of them, and yeah, they had a couple of them under company names, and they still got confiscated. But a lot of them were under their personal names, just like property was under personal names as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think this is this is Paul. Thank you. Yeah, I think he's saying that McBride is lying to the judge.
Mm.
Whoever
wrote that.
connections.
Posted like a few specific car. He said like in a couple of videos that the DOJ cited, those were rented. So maybe those were, I don't know, those specific cars. I don't know.
That argument doesn't even matter. Rented, or you have access to it, or you own it. It doesn't even matter. The point, the Department of Justice is saying you have wealth and you have access to these assets and access to these people who could help you be a flight risk. That's what the argument is. You know, you are in a situation that does make you a flight risk based on our analysis. You have access to these assets, even if you don't own them. You have access to them.
It's kind of an own goal for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like you're saying, it's beside the point. All they're doing is admitting, hey, do you know what? Our whole brand is actually built on, forgery, like it's fake. It's not real.
Well, the thing is, because obviously not all the cars we know are rents. They own some, but what they are 100% confirmed is that there's some cars they presented as theirs they own that were rented.
Yeah.
So
Well, Gadget,
yeah,
you just don't understand how wealthy people operate.
yeah, they all just launder money. All wealthy people do. They own nothing. They said that to me about the yacht as well. You just don't understand wealthy people. Jeff Bezos doesn't own a yacht. And then I Googled, does Jeff Bezos own a yacht? And he owns like a $300 million yacht in his name.
What I love about that, like, you guys don't understand how wealthy people do assets. And it's like, dude, you're paying $49 a month to the real world. Sit your ass down, child. Sit your ass down.
Paul again, thank you. Tate has connections in Russia, Steven Seagal, and China. Would accept him to shit talk America. I think we need to promote that to prove him as run risk. That seemed like it was a valid scenario that he could have fled to Russia for a little bit. I remember Crayons
about that. That was a worry.
Yeah, and I want to be something clear here. We're not trying to stop the DOJ from doing anything. We're not trying to get them pinned up. We're not trying to. We're just providing information. We're providing information for the public to read. There's no effort to try to do anything. Like, that's what prosecutors are for. That's what the authority is for. If they find evidence of their wrongdoing, they'll prosecute them or chase them to the ends of the earth. We're just providing information. You know, I see people all the time saying, hey, Crayon, you know, if we could really get them if we do this. Like, I'm not trying to get them. You know, they'll get themselves, or prosecutors will go after them. We're providing information. That's it. I'm not law enforcement. You know, my involvement ends at sharing information.
Paul again, thank you. Brittany Venti did a video where she said Tate's father was diagnosed narcissist, which explains Tate's impulsiveness and why they chose McBride. Yeah, I mean, Tate's father could have. They should do a. Did you see Richard Jewell, the Will Smith film about him being the father of the Williams sisters? They should make that video, but Will Smith should play Emery Tate. That's
he would crush that.
that would be something, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Kieran 415, thank you. Keep up the good fight, mates. We will.
Yeah.
Alan Crossbow, thank you.
I honestly can't wait until there's nothing to talk about with these guys. Like, I don't want to read these documents anymore. I don't want to do this stuff. Like, I just want them to be extradited and go stand trial and let the cards fall where they may. You know, like, I don't want this stuff in my head. I don't want to have to read. I don't want to learn about goat sex. You know, like, I don't want to learn about chat groups where they're sharing dudes banging goats.
Yes.
Lines are being crossed here. Yeah.
The fact that he filmed that, and not only that, thought, that was the best take, and then posted it.
No, he filmed that and he said, "Yep, that's a good idea. I'm uploading that right now."
The public.
I do feel like that was. I feel like that was pitched to like his Pakistani audience. You know,
it's kind of Islamophobic too. Like, it was like,
there was
Arabs.
Yeah, there was a portion. There was a percentage of their fan base that was like, goat sex, huh?
That's right.
It was goat. Yeah.
Like, every time you walk into a house, there's a man like, what?
Yeah. Or they're like, I shouldn't be in trouble. Yeah. All those group chats with the goat sex. Look, I don't share it. I'm in the group chats. They're not mine, but like, you know.
Yeah.
You're right. I shouldn't be in trouble for that.
Those goats were probably asking for it.
Witchy Goth, thank you. He asked for UK to get him wish granted. I was thinking about doing a compilation of just the amount of times that he said, come get me.
Top G is top goat. I love it.
Goat.
Yeah, we have a new one. Top G. Yeah, top goat.
Top goat.
Oh my god.
To kind of
not the greatest
guys.
Time.
Yep.
Keep sharing your voices and perspectives.
I can't believe he sat down and recorded that. It was like, that was a good take.
every time I think he can't shock me any further, he just posts something new. The AI slop was the last one, but
See,
this is next level.
the Osama bin Laden of rape.
That
How he
was-
told that?
I have a theory, and I've talked to somebody else about this, and they agree. I think part of what he's doing is being so outlandish that he becomes the conversation instead of what's happening to the brothers. Like, I think that's a plausible theory, right? Because now everybody's talking about him. Every minute we talk about Joe Bride and goat sex, we're nobody's talking about Tate, right?
How
Maybe
maybe
he knows that the Tates are screwed, and he's like, this is my promo run to try and you know, get as much business out of this as I can, because the Tate thing, it's you know, it's run its course. So let's get McBride out there. Let's get this is my billboard ad.
Listen, if you're ever charged in the United States with, you know, crimes against children, rape, human trafficking, or any animal sex, goat sex, whatever it is, like you've got a lawyer. Like you know a guy that'll go to bat for you if you've been charged with that stuff. You know, doesn't mean you're guilty of it, but you know,
get in while it's still got a license.
Yeah,
slash
that's
AI
just wild, man.
AI marketer.
It's just wild stuff. Like the things that comes out of his mouth, I'm just like, man, really? Was that like? Are you intentionally saying this? Is there a master plan here? But like you said earlier, you know, he represented Keith Raniere. I think Willie was talking about Keith Raniere, who was convicted, but he wasn't on Raniere's team for the actual trial. He was on the appeal team. So when Keith Raniere appealed, Joe McBride was part of the appeal team, and McBride was sent to prison for, I think, 120 years or something like that.
But the guy passed the bar. Like, he passed the bar test. That's the, you know.
Boggles the mind.
It boggles the mind. The idea of McBride sitting down.
Listen, I understand lawyers doing advocacy. I understand lawyers being aggressive. I understand lawyers trying to protect their clients. But when you're doing laughing emojis under women who are claiming, you know, they've been raped, there, you know what I mean? Like there's a line where it's like, okay, you're doing advocacy work, you're trying to protect your clients, versus like you are acting like an absolute scumbag. You know what I mean? If you're laughing at someone who's saying that they were raped, that to me, you've just put yourself in a specific category of just being a terrible person, because you don't know that situation. You know, you don't know. You don't know what happened. So to just laugh at them.
I could see a lawyer representing someone in that situation coming out and making a serious statement and being like, we understand the BBC reported this. Well, the accusation is completely false. We're going to defend it in court and win or something.
Yes. We categorically deny all accusations and we will defend ourselves in court and prove our innocence or whatever. Like that seems to be the way. Nobody's busting the balls of Russell Brand. He came out and he said, "What, you know, I deny these allegations. I'll prove my innocence in court." And that was the end of it. Nobody was laughing at the women. No, you know, that was the end of it. Nobody's going after Russell Brand. But when
I don't know. His whole born again shtick.
That's a different one.
He came out on Piers. He came on Piers Morgan trying to find the verse in the Bible. That was great.
Yeah.
But there is something about the Tate brothers do have their own like gravitational pull, you know. Like you saw that with what's his name, Eugene? What's the Romanian lawyer?
Oh my God, the guy who dresses like he's from 1983.
That's what I mean. They get pulled into the Tate, the gravitational pull, you know. So that's even like McBride as well. It's, you know, so even him doing the laughing emoji, it's there is something to that, you know.
It's just.
Even like Tucker Carlson, like he does the interview and he's got the no socks and the leather shoes. You know?
Man, just laughing at women who were like, "Yeah, you know, your client raped me" or whatever. Just laughing at that, and he did it more than once. That just man,
And
then one of the fanboys last night, who was going back and forth with me. There was that little guy that said that women are accusing him of sexual assault or something, and he's quoted me and said, "I would rather be a rapist than be fat like you." I'm like, what? You what? That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's not helping. And he was angry with me for saying it was alarming that he said he had a error last year when the police were trying to lock him up and multiple women were accusing him of sexual assault. And I said, that's alarming. And then he got angry and lied, and I said that I was accused.
I'm amazed
I'm
at how many
in
of
a group chat with all these guys.
I'm amazed at how many of Tate's fans turn to violent comments. You know, you have the one talking about nuke the UK. Do you turn the UK into a parking lot? Yeah, you know, you had the other guy, the AI guy, talking about they you know, there's more of them than there are in the UK. Let's invade the UK with guns or whatever the hell he was talking. But it's just insane, some of the stuff that these people are saying. I believe, and I've talked about this before, I believe that there's a large percentage of their fan base currently that has mental illness. I think they've gravitated towards this stuff through like their belief in conspiracy and all of this stuff. I think there's a lot of mentally ill people that are following them. Not everybody, but
no, but there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of like, I think there's there's genuinely a lot of broken men.
Yeah, there's that too.
You know,
yeah.
There's a lot of
Especially with the
guys
ones that are
who've like,
left.
yeah, the amount of times I see guys who've, you know, gone through divorces or, you know, I mean, even in your spaces, like the amount of guys who would go defend him and, you know, look, whether they were guilty or not, they had accusations made against them by women. You know, so, you know, either that's because they are guilty or because, you know, they're genuinely innocent. And so they believe that Andrew Tate is some sort of a, you know, poster boy for that. I'm not sure, you know, but that's always the thing, right? That's the thing that there's so many of these guys who say, you know, Andrew Tate is a positive influence, but yeah, they defend just like horrific stuff.
Two things can be true at the same time. You could have somebody who inspires you to do something. Oh, he inspired me to start a business. He inspired me to go to the gym, whatever it was. He can inspire you to do that. At the same time, all the other things could also be true. Like two things can't exist at the same time. And to think that one couldn't exist because to think that these things couldn't be true because he inspired you, like that, I don't even understand the thinking in that.
Well, I always say that, you know, I get that, not so much these days, but years ago, I'd post just the Tate brothers saying just the most horrific things. I'd post the clip of Tristan Tate saying, doesn't matter how good of a father you are, if your daughter wants a Louis Vuitton bag, she's going to get it. And him talking about being able to recruit women, you know, into pornography because they want to get that, you know, Louis Vuitton bag. And there'd be like a guy who'd reply underneath saying, yeah, but the Tates really helped me out the past year. They really, like, you know, I was struggling and, you know, whatever. And then they've made me get there. It's like, okay, but you're replying to this like grotesque clip, you know? And that's where there's this like cult element where it's not just that they've, you know, managed to get you to pull your life together. They've also managed you to now run to defend them when I'm posting horrific things.
Well, if you look at cults, if you look at like, because in my opinion, it's a cult in the real world, and if you look at cults like, say, those like yoga-based cults, and they say the same thing. This guy saved my life. I've gotten so fit. I've lost this much weight. I would be dead without him. They say the same thing. Yeah. And then it turns out that they're raping all the women and girls. The cult leader is.
Yeah.
So I see it as very similar, and not a defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Human psychology is really strange, and there's so many men. Well, I was going to kill myself, but Andrew Tate, you know, inspired me not to kill myself or unalive myself. Whatever. I'm just like, hey, man, I'm glad you're still with us, but that has absolutely nothing to do with the allegations and the charges against him. You know, people, Jeffrey Dahmer's neighbors thought that he was a decent guy. You know, when they interviewed people he worked with, they thought he was like a decent guy and he was always friendly and all of that stuff. But he was murdering young men and putting their body parts in his refrigerator and eating them. You know, so you don't know, like, unless you are personally involved with the person on a intimate level, you don't really know what somebody's doing. You don't know what somebody's up to, especially when it's just somebody you're looking at online. Like, oh, this guy, inspires me to do whatever. You have no idea what any of these influencers are up to. No idea. Nobody does.
No, the idea of like Bill Cosby made me laugh, so therefore he's innocent of everything he's been accused of. I'm a massive fan of like Roman Polanski. I love Roman Polanski films. I'm not going to defend. I'm not going to defend what he did to that 13-year-old.
You can separate the art from the artist, and Tate fans can't do that.
Harvey
Weinstein it's so entwined in their life. That's yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, they do. They wrap their identity, their masculine identity around that. They latch on to the idea of what they think Andrew Tate represents.
Yeah, and that's the cold element.
So that is the cold element.
Yeah, that's the cold element.
Harshan X, thank you. Probably butchering that username. Thank you for the work you've been doing for so long. It's been valuable for trying to keep the tater tots from spreading their BS. If Heidi Blake's story wasn't wrong on it, I'm glad Vivian broke out from the programming.
Yeah,
it did sound like that.
Well, we'll see.
What? Okay. I'm starting to wonder. I didn't wonder this until Joe McBride's video, and keep in mind that I also understand that video could be a distraction. Like there might not be anything about goats whatsoever. Like that just could be a red herring. But it makes me wonder, are those images of indecent images of a child, are those about her or are they about somebody else? Somebody else that nobody's aware with. Like I would have never guessed, assuming what he said was true, are they about someone else? Because I would have also never thought about the goat, guys banging a goat. So it could be her, could be somebody else. I honestly don't know. His video just could be a distraction.
Crayons, is it clear? Because my understanding was that we think it will be about Vivian because of the time frames, but it's also not 100% clear whether it's one child or multiple children. Is that right, or do you?
So it's 15 individual charges of indecent images of a child. Each charge could be one image or thousands of images. That doesn't mean that there's necessarily 15 images specifically. It could be 15 images, or it could be 15,000 images, or 100. There's no limit. It's just 15 individual charges. Theoretically speaking, it could be 15 different girls, or it could be 3 different girls spread apart, or it could be one girl with loads of pictures that he had on his phone. Right? We don't know yet. We don't have that breakdown yet. All we know is there's 15 individual charges for it. And we know that within a single charge, that could be one or it could be many of images or content.
Okay.
So no, we don't know yet. And I don't know if we'll ever know.
Because it's
right,
involving minors, maybe not.
I got to wrap up, guys.
Yeah.
Easy boys.
Thank you. Good chatting. We'll do another one of these soon.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Thanks for the chat and everyone that gave super chats as well.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, who've tuned in. See you all soon. All right. Thank you.
Catch ya.